you never conquer it. The Oxford Dictionary describes endurance as the ability to endure an unpleasant or difficult process or situation without giving way. At OOR, we describe endurance in one word: fun. Boy, have we saved the best till last. Hours around a place affectionately known as the Green Hell. 25 kilometres of pure adrenaline over 170 corners, from the high-speed run at footpaths down to Hamburg. With some of the most random weather to test all our drivers to their maximum limit. The sheer thrill of the foxhole. The sheer terror of Bergwerk. Wall comes up quick. Carousel to the mini carousel. Simply a great bit of road. Our drivers and teams will need to be at their very, very best to conquer what is simply the most difficult racetrack in the world. This is the Permobil Nordschleife 12 Hour.
...176 corners, over 25 kilometres of hard racing track. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Permobil Octane Online Racing Nordschleife 12 Hour. It's going to be an exciting one here today. My name's Mitch Hobbs, and joining me first up in the comms box, we have the man himself, Mr. Tom Maloney. How you going, Tom?
G'day, Mitch. I am very, very well. Thank you all for having me. Definitely looking forward to this. And looking at a fast track, 19 degrees, this is going to be a pretty spicy one, I reckon.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute cracker. And joining us, secondly, in the comms box is a man that everybody's been waiting for on his return to the comms box. It is the man, the myth, the legend himself. It's Mr. David Bender McNulty. Bender, how are you doing on this lovely day today?
Good morning, Hobbsy. I'm doing well, thanks. I was better about 5 to 10 minutes ago when it was raining in the practice session. But the track is kind of greasy still. It's a little bit damp from what I've heard. So, yeah, it should be an exciting race. Hopefully the rain makes a return later on.
Yes, as you're saying, it was raining in practice and people were kind of hoping that maybe something would spice it up here with rain. But, I mean, we've got 12 hours. The time multiplier is on a ×2 to compensate for a 24-hour in-game race. So we'll definitely see some weather variability today, which will set apart those who have practiced that from the rest. It's going to be an absolute cracker today. That just on the outlap at the moment, we are having to do a full formation lap because ACC Kunos things doesn't allow for a short formation lap. So the drivers have been advised to go for it on this outlap, which will certainly assist them getting their tyres warm and get them ready for the start of this one. What are we expecting, boys? We've got obviously Bokita on pole. We probably all saw that coming. We've got Hignett and Herbert there in the top three, still not too far behind Taufik, Courtier, McAdams as well. So there's a whole range of drivers and manufacturers up in this top 10 and throughout this grid. It's going to be an absolute cracker.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they deal with turn one. So Nordschleife, all the cars have got a bit of a compromise set up to deal with the fact that this track's not like most others that you might be aware of. The cars are a little bit higher off the ground. They're a little bit floatier. So making sure everyone breaks that 25 meters early you have to into turn one. That'll be interesting to watch and make sure everyone's paying attention to that, because if you're used to the original GP circuit in ACC, you don't have to break that early. So we'll hope that everyone can get through there pretty cleanly, and then It'll be see who hasn't blistered their tires on this relatively quick outlap is the other big one, I reckon.
I think for me, the main thing to watch out for will be just to see how or what role traffic plays today. Obviously, very different track, lots of varying speeds. I think in the classification server, there was a delta of about 30 seconds between the fastest drivers and the slower drivers. So it'll just be interesting to see how that plays out today.
Yeah, we're sort of expecting the top teams to be doing, high 8-minute laps, sort of 8 and below, and then you've got, basically from there down to might be 840s, 850 a lap in the slower classes today. We do have a couple of teams opting to start from the back, give themselves a bit of a challenge. And look, if there's a track you want to do it, I'd say it's here, given how challenging it's going to be throughout these 12 hours, the weather variability, different strategies from different teams, depending on the cars. Mustang in front of us. This is your team, Bender, I believe. So
that is correct, yes.
You, we're going to curse you the whole day, so have fun with that one. Opting for the Mustang, it's a nice, stable choice. Does munch through fuel and tyre, and Steve Lewis has forgotten the hit drive, has he? Or has he just joined?
He didn't pull away from the grid, apparently.
Hardware issues, unfortunate.
Ooh.
Better to have it now rather than 10 hours.
Yes, yes, I was going to say, it's better to have it now. He'll start a little bit after the green flag from the rest of the grid, but not the end of the world. Now, I'm not going to force you two boys to curse the start, so I will take that burden upon amongst myself.
So kind.
But I know I'm ever so generous. But
take one for the team.
Yeah, we'll take one for the team. But the cars are now slowing down. We've got a nice long straight to get everybody formed up, and everybody's hopefully got their tyres on. If they haven't, I'd be shocked. Get their brakes warm, just finalise their strategy with the team, work out what they're going to be doing for turn 1. 2 Ferraris on the front row, so they probably should have, I suspect, a fairly equal start, but they do have Regan Herbert and the Bentley behind, who's certainly no slouch, especially in the Bentley, and he does love the Nordschleife, so certainly going to be a cracking start. We've got all the drivers just forming up. There's a bit of a mess back there. They're just getting themselves in form, and there's a bit of a gap there behind the Aston back there. That's possibly Tame, I believe, or Rashuti somewhere behind there. So hopefully we have a nice clean start, but it is the Nordschleife, and it's not the normal Nürburgring GP circuit layout that is in ACC. You've got the Nordschleife version, so it's a nice tight entry into turn 1 and then straight into turn 2 onto the run out of avoiding the Mercedes Arena complex, basically. So any final thoughts, boys, before the start?
Well, I was just going to ask, have we got the over-under on safety car lap 1?
It's $1, isn't it? Anyway.
even money?
just take your money back. I think we've had a couple of races, practice races, so I think everyone's gotten the shenanigans out of the way. So hopefully it's nice and clean, and everyone sort of get rolling into this 12 hours and just do what they need to do. But Hobbsy, race start's coming up. You've taken it. It's all yours.
Okay, let's see how we handle this as they come through onto the front straight. They will be given the green light. We're hoping Bokeh to join first, so they do get given the green when she comes across the line. Nice and formed. This is probably the most formed up Enduro, and we're green here. That's a very good start from Hignett. And Bokita's going to try and move across, and Herbert wants to follow through. Bokita needs to keep an eye on Herbert on the outside. Let's see what Hignett can do. He's just going to stick the nose in, and Herbert's not going to be given much room, but takes the inside. Not going to get a good exit, though, but it is the Bentley, so still makes the Ferrari look a bit hilarious on the run on the exit. Nothing too bad so far. Monk's just hitting the curbing there. Taufik's up a position, trying to sneak in behind Hignett. Herbert's gotten past Hignett relatively easily, just had that pull on the straight there out of the exit of the Mercedes Arena, what would be the Mercedes Arena complex, down towards a hairpin in the this part of the GP circuit. And Bokita's already pulled 7/10 of the second here, given that Hignett and Herbert were fighting. Taufik just getting around nicely. He's up 2 positions. John McAdam in the Bentley. It's not moved any positions as of yet, but everyone seems to be single file. Don't see any huge incidents or yellow flags as of yet, but we're not even on the Nordschleife yet. We're just coming up to that in a moment as we come down here for a run, and Regan's really trying to pull away here. Bokita still holding that 7/10 gap at this point. Probably refresh as we go throughout the circuit. They're very big sectors here, given that ACC only handles 3, so they're around 2 minutes a sector, 2.5 minutes a sector. So you probably won't see those timings update too often at this point. Down towards the chicane, this is where the drivers will pull out to the right on a wide entry to get the best run onto the Nordschleife for the first time. There's going to be many, many hundreds of laps here today. And it's going to be an absolute cracker. Clean start so far, boys. Not too concerned at this point.
Definitely, and just looking that Tyson Robbs has jumped from 9th to 5th off the start, so that Porsche has looked after him and he's handled that car very, very well. So good to see that that car's made some progress already. And Layla Bell down in P11, also in the Porsche up 4 position. So the German mark looking after their drivers off the race start, and Tyson will be looking to give Taufik a little bit of grief over the next 20 odd kilometres. That is Alexa's very, very sideways for Rob Underwood, and Layla Bell's going to take another position and get herself up into the top 10. So that's Rob Underwood already on lap 1, starting to find a little bit of excitement for himself.
Yeah, look, sideways, bit of drift action. It's not the fastest way through a corner, but you do get +5 style points. So I'm sure, Glenn, you can keep a tab of those in the background for us. No, just the one small crash that I saw into turn 1 looked like just the old classic 4 cars into 2 cars. So a bit of a minor, a couple of bumps. So hopefully no one major has been involved.
Gibbo and Nathan and Lucas Keys in the GTR and the Lexus going side by side through Flugplatz and up down towards Arnberg. So this is meant to be 1 by 1, but they're doing their absolute best to not make it that, and somehow everyone's still got their nose clean. I think Steve Lewis has had to start again. I can see his dot just leaving the pit lane, which is a big shame. But 11 hours 56 minutes to go. You can do something with that.
Yeah, absolutely guaranteed. It's going to be I think a rough first stint for a lot of the drivers. It is a fast track, so not going to be the optimal grip at this point. Of course, I'm really excited, and we haven't touched on this as of yet. That's a lovely livery too for Calf Hill Slade there, and like the simplicity of the German flag.
That's a Bentley in the wall.
Bentley. Is that Bushel in the wall?
That is.
It is. Well, that's not a good start for Mark. He'll be kicking himself on that. It's a really tough corner, actually. You've really got to just make the lift on the car right, and if you don't, you do run wide. It doesn't look like he's got too much damage. He did hit the wall pretty hard, though, so Bentley can cope with a little bit of damage, but see how it plays out for him in the Kovacs Racing Blue car. The race started, boys, at 12 in the afternoon in game, so we're going to get night later in this race. I cannot wait to see how that plays out for drivers if they're practicing the night or not. Oh, that's Cordier behind, getting up close and personal with Bushel, who's, you can see the windscreen. Oh, he must be really struggling with that damage because that looked really not okay on the exit there. But Cordier's got O'Brien on the rear that he's going to have to contend with. O'Brien's, looked like he was going to stick the nose up the inside. And Bender's car with Papiano just sneaking in behind. You got the pom-poms on cheering him on there, Bender?
Yes, absolutely. Pete's done a great job so far. Kept it clean, made a couple of positions. Oh, more than a couple. I think he's up 5. So doing very well.
That'll do. It'll do something for you. And so we're just paying attention to, and he's all over the back of the BMW of O'Brien at the moment. And we're now in a pretty flat out chunk of the road at the moment. So we'll see what those American horses can do to the German horses in front of him. Both cars looking absolutely spectacular in the midday sun here at the Nordschleife. Track's still fast, track's still reasonably cool. That BMW looks like it's pulling away a little bit, to be fair. So the grip's not quite there yet, but the track will start coming to these drivers. We'll start seeing their optimum pace come out. This corner's not flat out. Well, it is if you want to die, but it's not flat out in these cars. So we come to the first braking zone for probably 45 seconds, just flat out, lift a little bit, brakes are cold, tyres are cold, see how well you can get the corner to pull up. Nico Cordia there in the grass a little bit on the exit and coming up here to, I reckon, the most famous corner on the track, the Carousel. There's nothing else like it in the world.
Yeah, and there's 2 of them, of course, the mini one a bit later in the sector. And yeah, it's really tough especially in ACC, the carousel, because if you don't get the car dipped in early enough, it carry too much speed, you get spat out really quickly, and you've really got to hold the car. It's really bouncy, so a lot of the drivers will need to be contending with that throughout the race, and they'll probably play it safe these first few laps, just while the track gets out of being fast and into ultimate. It's a Mustang going wide. That might be Braid behind. It is McLaughlin just getting past there, so just running a little bit wide. Drivers just need to keep it safe, get themselves in a bit of a rhythm. For the first lap or two, has there been I reckon there's been a bit of
has absolutely
scuffle.
walked away from these two. I
Yeah.
reckon they've had a bit of a ding dong.
Yeah, because Herbert actually lost out to Hignett again, and now he's back in front. So I wonder if there's been a bit of a scuffle between these two. But there's another flat-out section here. Don't want to hit the curbs at all if you can avoid it, because you will bounce the car. And through here, this is a really nasty section because there's so much aero being forced down on the car at the high speeds, and you've got to just lift and scrub it all off, get on the brakes and not upset the car. So another tough one. Here's the mini carousel. And as they come round, this sector throws a lot of people off this section as well. Just getting the right amount of throttle through here, and Hignett proving my point. There you go. He's proving my point. You've got to not hit the grass, which Ben's more than demonstrated to me there, that you're going to hit that wall, and you need to make sure you get the lift right. You want to lift earlier and really push the accelerator out onto this straight and get that run right. Oh, let's have a look at a replay at that one. So let's have a look and see what Herbert and Hignett may have done earlier in this lap, having had a bit of a scuffle. I did see that Hignett got past. Maybe Herbert's had a bit of a moment through here.
He had a bit of a wiggle through the low-speed chicane there before, and Ben's here got a pretty monumental toe. And we'll see if he's felt a bit brave. Regan, again, not going particularly quickly. So we'll
Ben
keep
was
following the replay.
That was a little bit tight. Oh, he's gone. It's all right. We've got Glenn behind the cameras, everyone. He's pulled his hair out this morning, so we're just a little bit further back, but it's been good to see the battle. We've got Hignett down the bottom left there as well. Just putting along nicely onto the second lap here. So that's one lap down. And
he got it down the inside. Nicely done.
Great move under brakes.
Yeah, that's a really tough corner actually to get that pulled up for. So he must have just foreseen that Herbert was going wide and has pulled that up nicely. So it's a very nice job from him. Coming down to the GP circuit again. So it's going to get a bit repetitive for these drivers, of course, but might be a bit refreshing. It's optimum here at the moment now, 20 degrees ambient and 26 on track. So not too hot. And I don't think it'll get probably hot on around 23, 24 ambient and around, 30 to low 30s on the track. So around the temperatures you'd probably be expecting to see at the Nordschleife at this point in the year, possibly even a little bit colder. But Tyson Robbs now, he's up 5 positions from where he started in the Porsche. So that's a very good effort from him. Layla Bell is the same. Lucas Keys is the same as well. So the driver's just making up some positions probably on the Nordschleife section of the track. Just getting earlier on the brakes. That's a lovely livery on the Lexus there. Unfortunately, you can't really do a lot with the liveries on the Lexus because it's never one that's had very good livery support overall, which is upsetting.
Yeah, just looking as well, there's a couple of cars in the pits. The 551 we didn't see have an accident on the Nordschleife, but they've come in, and as well the 19 for Kovacs Blue has also come in. We saw Mark Bushell make good friends with the wall earlier in the lap, so where they've come in to repair that damage. Will probably just let Mark's brain reset a little bit and have another crack a bit later on. Luke Johnson here all over the back of Callan Gibbons in the Pixel Racers Mustang. There are some absolute cracker liveries here, and these two are two absolutely fantastic liveries here. Classic Castrol livery from the Gran Turismo days, and Mike Crick's purple, blue, black masterpiece on that Nissan as well. So awesome to see some fantastic creativity across the grid as per usual.
Yes, livery is always a highlight. The Castrol one for me is timeless classic, like you said, from Gran Turismo. A few people going wide there. You mentioned before, Hobbsy, about the curbs. I just wonder if so many people know how many death curbs there are around here. I mean, you can very easily get caught out and spat into a wall. You just take the wrong angle.
Yeah, it is interesting, especially in that first sector, especially. You tend to be able to hit most of the curves, but there is a couple of cases where you can hit them wrong, as you say, Bender, that it will spit you off the track. Not necessarily always into a wall, but just, yeah, spit you off the track to the grass, put dirt in tyres, and then there's a problem. But at the moment, those drivers you saw, just a couple of running wide on those exits of the curb. They're trying to use all the track to get as much speed out of the car as possible. That might induce a little bit of pressure loss if they do it consistently throughout the lap, which will be probably another thing to look out for. I don't know if track limits will be something to look out for. It could be if people are hitting walls or going off track and the game decides to give them. So that, again, will be another one that we'll have to keep an eye on. But Johnson is all over the back of Gibbo here. And they're up 15 positions from where they started. They started from the back, which I think they want to give themselves a bit of a challenge, and not all of them were, as I am aware, available, unfortunately, to do the qualifying anyway. So they thought, yep, let's start from the back and just see how this one plays out for us. And if I was Johnson, I'd look to try and put a bit of pressure on Gibbo sooner rather than later, because he's got Slade in the big-nosed BMW behind, wanting to get a piece of this action, and Struick as well is in behind. There's a good little train of cars here that's just sitting nicely in their little single file train, and you can see the track map there. It's just heading along nicely through this section of the Nordschleife. So we'll see how the rest of them. There's a yellow flag as I say that. Whom might that be? 4 something. It's not. It's Brent Sykes. 421. He's had a bit of a moment through there. So that's.
Saw 375 as well, flashed up yellow and then returned to garage. So it has been quite explicitly stated that if you do have a significant amount of damage, that you should RTG rather than try and drag it around for 20 kilometers, because there's a high risk of causing a bit of extra chaos. So we'll expect to see a fair bit of that across this race, as drivers sort of see that, if you've got a minute and a half of damage, you might as well just start the lap again and see what you can do there. So we'll keep following Phil Slade here, and Luke Johnson has dropped off the back of Callum Gibbons a little bit. I think it's a wise thing to do across this track. Being stuck on the back of someone is so mentally taxing, and just be able to drop back and sort of hold position, just get your brain back into position. We've got some penalties as well coming in from the stewards. We've obviously got a wonderful volunteer steward team, all managed by Matt Powell, who is the race director today as well. So they will be paying attention to everything going on, and their first little whack from the sticks has come through. That was a car up the inside of the corner before the carousel, as everyone knows it. So there's still plenty of action going on, and I was kind of expecting people to settle down a bit, but people are pretty happy to still poke the nose up.
Yeah, I think we'll find that there'll be a lot of shifting in this, as we can see, obviously, from the positions on the leaderboard. There'll be a lot of shifting of positions in this first stint. So we have a look at Sam O'Brien. Let's just see what's happened. This is one of those curves I was talking about. That's Cordier in front. That's just had a bit of a moment. Oh, yep, there's one of those death curves. Oh, that's a lot of... I reckon O'Brien must have had damage. Oh, that's a dangerous re-entry too, so watch out for those. I reckon O'Brien must have had damage previously, because that was a hard hit, but I wouldn't expect the bonnet to come up like that after that. So there must have been some prior damage, I'd say.
That looked like just sort of, once you lose the car, there's not a lot of room to have any room to pick it up again. And I think, is he going to have another accident somewhere further along the lap? We're going up here towards Arnberg now. Lets the Ferrari through. He's offline on that really awkward over the crest left-hander. We're going to go down into the right-hander here. Still keeping it smooth. And again, we're offline here. Cars are flying past. It's pretty terrifying in the daytime. Can't wait for this to be happening in the nighttime.
Yeah.
And here into Adenauer. And
bizarre. Really?
Yeah, I don't know whether he's tried to move off the line and's got caught by the grass and's floored it or something, and he's pulled over. I think that's a fair decision, and it was stated in the rules that the race director, Matt Powell, today does have discretion to ask a team to return to the garage if he feels that they are not going to safely make it back round to the pits. So we might see, I dare say, a little bit of that today. We can see Phil Slade's car actually does have a little bit of damage, as Johnson, whilst looking in the replay, has gotten past Gibbo now, but I don't know how far I'd hold off being Johnson. I think that Nissan, with its top speed, is going to certainly claw its way back a little bit, but Johnson's got a good gap to be able to defend if need be. This is a hilariously long straight as well, so we'll have to see if that Nissan gains anything. But Slade's looking to the outside of Gibbo, and of course the BMW should and does show its talents here a little bit. This is where it can actually actively use 6 gear. We know at some tracks it's not useful for it using 6 gear, given that it just holds the top speed back a bit, but it can open it right up here, given that it's on the right gearing ratio for the Nordschleife, and Slade just has to tuck in behind Gibbo. So some good, sensible decisions being made by some drivers at the moment, which is great to see.
Absolutely. Good to see Phil sort of realise that side by side through that last little chicane bit of the Nordschleife from back onto the GP circuit. You might do it in a sprint race, but in the first 20 minutes of a 12-hour race, it's probably better to let that one go, as Luke Johnson gets it all crossed up on the second part of the first chicane. But he has opened up a huge gap to just watching the timing tower reset itself from Gibbo and the BMW of Phil Slade. So I think at this point now, Phil's going to start to think about just backing off a little bit and making sure that he can pay attention and sort of take advantage of an error without having to be on 100% the whole time, because the track does enough of that. Just looking as well, Philippa Bakita now has 10 seconds over Regan Herbert after just over 2 laps. So that lead at the front, comfortable for the 89 BS Plus competition car. You'd usually expect to see a BMW in that livery. They've gone with a Ferrari this time round.
Yeah, interesting choice. Always good to mix it up a little bit, try something new or drive something new. Of course, we won't divulge into the BOP chat, which I know so many people are fans of. I don't know if we've done it yet. It might be a good time to check in with everyone watching on Twitch and YouTube. I hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast so far.
Yeah, let us know who you're following.
Bender. We're just listening to Bender's smooth voice. That's what's going on.
Wow, just wait to the nighttime stint.
Your car's
Lull
up
some
10
people to
places now,
sleep.
Bender.
Yeah, Pete's doing an excellent job so far. Avoided a couple of little incidents. Had a nice overtake at the carousel last lap, so he's doing great work. It'll be time for me to go backwards when I get in the car in a few hours' time.
Yeah, Bender's just hoping it rains. That's what Bender wants. He wants rain.
Yes, that's what I hope.
As you said, that it's just started absolutely hammering down at my place here in Melbourne. So,
that's
a big
Pete,
down.
what's going on? Bender's definitely just clenched then.
That's
more than clenched.
Yeah. Yes.
There's your death curbs.
Yeah.
Yes, right on cue.
Yes, we'll probably see some rain here today. I can speak for myself being in northeast Victoria, and Tom can as well, that it has been raining and it will continue to piss rain. What about you, Bender? Is it raining where you are? Or was?
Not at the moment. It rained overnight. It's rained the last couple of days. It's been that horrible, 26 to 30 degrees and then raining and just really muggy. And it's like, what's this rubbish?
That's been us the whole week, and it's meant to rain here for the next 7 days. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But just saw on screen there, Brent Sykes got past Josh McLaughlin there. So it's a good little move. Josh did let it happen, and the tail came around on that Porsche a little bit. And the Porsche suspension certainly not the best for the Nordschleife, so you might see it bouncing around a little. It's not pleasant, yes. That's definitely the best way to describe it. The BMW certainly has its edge, but one thing we haven't touched on yet in terms of the strategies is there's no driver stint time, max stint time, so they can go as long as they want. And one thing that I would say would be a contributing factor as to why we don't see or won't see many BMWs is the BMW can't go any further than about 65 minutes on a stint because of the fuel usage on it. So that'll be a tough one for the BMW drivers to come back from. You'll see the Ferraris, Porsches, Lambos Bentley, most other cars go at least another lap, maybe two, probably at least one compared to the BMW. So
I believe the
that'll be one
Porsche
to
on
look
its
out for.
on its normal consumption map, on its normal power map, will absolutely do that second extra lap, which is a
Yeah.
very, very handy little talent to have on a race like this. Because when you stints at 8 laps and you can do 2 extras, you're saving a pit stop every 4 stints, which is monumental when you think about it.
But that all falls apart if on those extra couple of laps, excuse me, that if you stick it in the wall or need to pit because you got damage, all of a sudden there goes your offset of having a bit of extra fuel that you can use. So swings and roundabouts, I think. But yeah, definitely you'd prefer to have it rather than not. But you need to be able to utilize it as well.
Absolutely. And Greenie in chat asking for on PC or console. This is a PC league. So hence the graphics are a little bit. You'll see we've got a third-party little timing board there by the wonderful person at ACC Drive. With this updates a little bit more frequently than the standard ACC leaderboard. So nice to have that rather than sort of waiting 2.5 minutes for an update as to a gap. As Peter gets past Liam Kate up into 23rd, and that's 2 cars getting very close to each other as well.
Yeah. I think I clench every time I see cars get near each other and one looks to stick the nose. That always worries me.
You can't really rely on sort of making contact with another car and it just sort of being a rub in ACC, unfortunately. And the Brent Sykes and the Pit Vibe Omega with the Sprunk livery. That's a GTA reference if anyone has played Grand Theft Auto 5.
I thought it might have been.
As Ben Hignett is all over the back of Regan Herbert again, looking at some gaps. There is a drive-through penalty for car 28, Phil Slade, for causing a collision. The stewards getting out the bigger sticks, and they did say we'll get out some pretty big sticks and be happy to hand out not just 1 but 2 or 3 stop goes if you have done something particularly naughty. So we will not look forward to, but we thank them for.
We will be seeing.
We will be seeing it, and we thank them for being happy to tell our drivers to pull their heads in and behave. This is 4 cars running very close to each other.
I'm smelling a potential disaster here, given that I think all these cars have damage, these 4 in a row, looking at the state of them. So let's just hope that they keep it calm and just do it nicely through YouTube Corner here, as it's known by most of the world. That's a bit of a nasty one if you get that one wrong. But coming through now to the far section, they'll come towards the jump as well. The jump's a nasty one if you get that wrong. Some people tend to tap the brakes, as you see through here. They'll get a nice jump. Some of them, getting all 4 wheels off the ground. You probably won't see that early in the stint, given how much fuel the cars have on board. But maybe later in the stint, you might see a Porsche or maybe a Bentley with all 4 wheels off the ground. Down another far section. Don't want to hit the curb through there because you will die. And down towards the mini carousel section they come. And Brent Sykes getting a little bit wobbly there. Liam Kay's doing a nice job to hold this group up nicely. As we'll see what the run's like into the straight.
Jumping into chat, we obviously saw here he started from pit lane. The game put him back into the car for the race start. He wasn't intending to start, so had to bail out of the steward's box where he was intending to sort of relax and twiddle his thumbs a little bit, because if he can rely on all the drivers to keep lap 1 clean, this is going to be an absolute toe down Dottingham for the BMW Brent Sykes behind the ANZ CRL Aston Martin. So obviously had nothing enabled, no force feedback, everything on the wrong screen, and I think good to see that they managed to get everything up and running now. Brooker's in the car. Not in last. This is going to be intense here.
Yep.
I'll stop yapping and let these guys sort it out.
That was worrying. They've gone single file again, and Sykes is back up where he was, and Kay's just dropped back. He knows he's got damage, doesn't want to fight that, so it's a solid one for them. It's going to be a good day. We're almost half an hour in, and certainly going to have a good day here in the comms box. We'll see a wide variety of commentators in the box. You've got us 3 here for the first 2 hours, and then we'll Mixed it up a little bit throughout the
Oh,
middle.
Brent.
Holy moly.
That's forgetting that the braking marker, as I mentioned
Yes.
before, for turn 1 is not the same as the GP one, and he's luckily
No.
managed to get out of it and not take a friend into the gravel trap. Hignet's back past Herbert,
Ooh.
so that damaged Ferrari still working pretty well for the 69 Ferrari entry. But I can tell you that running around the Nordschleife with Regan Herbert in a Bentley breathing down my backside is probably
Yeah.
not the way I want to spend my Saturday morning, to be honest, because Regan knows what he's doing with a race car in his hands. So does Ben, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, we've got... it's good to see, and it always happened, these Duros always bring back some of the veterans in the sim racing scene in the Oceanic region, the likes of Bo Keita, Matt Lamb. They've brought Lucas Burrs back for this race. He's going to be in the Ferrari a bit later on, so keep an eye out for him. Herbert's been in the scene for a while. Same with Hignet, kind of behind in that car as well. Bub now in that car. Josh Himes is a bit newer on the scene. Taufeeq Robs has been around for a little while. Jack Steele, a lot of the veterans. David Bender McNulty, he's a veteran as well. You know, you get all the ones that you've seen for many years always tend to come back, which is great to see.
Bit generous,
Terrifically,
lumping me in the category with them, Hobbsy.
Well, you've been doing sim racing for a while, Bender, so we've got to throw you in there. Your pace doesn't always make you a veteran, Bender, put it that way.
That Bentley has run into its little rev limiter, I would say.
Rev limiter, yeah.
And which the Ferrari seems to not have a rev limiter, because you can just bash downshifts and send it 17,000 RPM.
Oh no, it's got a rev limiter on the upshifts, but not necessarily the downshifts. You can rev it to like 9,500 on a downshift by mashing it. It's great.
Must be nice not having to worry about that. But that's Hignet getting past the Bentley, and that damaged Ferrari still looking like it's performing okay.
Yeah.
The cloud's doing a bit of work because those headlights are starting to show on the track a little bit. No rain as yet. But Lucas Keys has dragged that car from P20 to P8 in less than half an hour, which is a pretty mighty effort. The Ramstein Lexus. And we won't take a closer look at that livery, the hybrid badge, and the Camry on the back of it.
I think he must have put that on it because I was in VC with him when he was looking for liveries for this race, and he saw this one come up. He's like, I need that. But I reckon he must have put the hybrid on it, which is hilarious.
There is one sticker on that car that's my fault, and I'll let you all work out which one it was as time goes on. But he's currently following around Justin Cordier in the 473 McLaren. And the Lexus has one party trick and one party trick alone, and that is the dotting a straight.
Yeah.
I think it'll do 290 or something without a toe.
That's ridiculous.
That is quick.
It doesn't do much else quickly, but it does that.
I was going to say, where else is it fast? Nowhere. I mean, it's got Lucas Keys at the wheel, and he's certainly no slouch as known amongst the community. But yeah, that's 290 on the straight is just ridiculous, and I wouldn't want him breathing down my neck if I was Cordier this early in the lap, knowing that there's still a couple of straights to come. So let's hope he can maybe defend for a bit and try and push him a little bit further back.
Look at him already gain.
The dotting a straight.
Look at him already gain.
He's going to go for this. He have to. Yeah,
outside.
Wise decision.
Yeah, I think that was wise from Cordier to let him go. He's going to maybe just pop him behind and use that slipstream. So that's a very wise decision.
The Lexus Bozos roll on.
They do.
At the half an hour mark of this race, they are the absolute. They've made the most progress of anyone on the grid as Lucas gets that car tucked in.
What about the Rockets Evolve?
Oh, true, Rockets Evolve, but I can't see that. I can't see that on this list, so at the moment, they don't matter.
Wow. Get a load of this guy.
But yeah, up 16 plays. There you go.
16, yep. Wow, Wellsen, though, an AM team up 12. That's a solid, that's a very pink car.
Richard Wells.
I like the L plates, though.
That's L plates on the back.
Richard Wells is absolutely not an AM driver, though. He was in the top 10 shootout for the recent Monza Enduro we did a couple of months ago. So he is absolutely putting that car in place in stratified air for the AM class, and I think it's your car's P2 in that little battle bend up. So
Yep.
running around very, very nicely indeed. And looks like it's a clean car as well, which is what you want.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no damage. We've got our lovely race director Matt Powell in the chat. He's come. He needs a break. He's on his alcoholic break, and he's come to watch a bit of the stream to see how the drivers are going a bit further around the field. But all seems to be going well so far. Put it that way.
Yeah, it is. And of course, I saw a couple of people mention earlier about the penalties. Yeah, we do have stricter penalties. I think, Tom, you mentioned it before. But you do get 3 laps to serve your drive-through penalty. And of course, around here, 3 laps is about 20 odd minutes. So you might see the little stickers up there for quite a while if drivers choose to serve it on the 3rd lap. So there's a little quirk there. So don't stress. They haven't been awarded it incorrectly, or they will have to serve it. So that's just one of the quirks of this track.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you know who's behind you and you reckon you got the pace, you can use those 3 laps, those 24 odd minutes to try and see if you can pull out that 30 seconds that a drive through will lose you. So nice little bit of strategy that penalty gives you. Because in some cases you will be able to. If you have a 30-second pace delta over a lap, you can make that penalty back. You'll have to push for it, but
yeah. It's one of those things there. You've got the 30 second, but if you're going to make up the time anywhere, it's here. And especially even on the straight, you've got those fastest sections through the 2 Flansgartens, and then you come out through the mini carousel onto Dottingham Straight, and it's especially if you're in a car with a better top speed, e.g. a Lexus there, Slade there with the drive-throughs in a BMW, it's got pretty good top speed. You can make up, maybe half a second. Put that over 3 laps. There's 1.5 seconds alone on a straight, and you can easily make up, many more seconds throughout those twisty parts of the track. And I mean, I don't know why. You could probably make that up if you served it earlier, but I guess they're trying to get out of traffic as well.
Well, Hobbsy, sorry to cut you off there. So rain sighting in 15 minutes.
I was waiting for the rain.
Hey.
So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
We are also on a 2 times multiplier, so that's actually 7.5 minutes, if I understand correctly. How the time multiplier.
That's correct. So
sorry, it is. Yeah, it's usually 10 and 30, isn't it?
Yes, it's usually 10 and 30. So that is correct. Now, an interesting thing that I'm going to bring up is for those that are a bit further back, looking at your car 492, you can see sort of coming towards the back end of the Nordschleife. Do you risk doing 2 laps and doing half a lap on dry tyres? That's the question. That's going to be the big thing throughout the race, because if you come across the line with 12 minutes left to rain per se, or 11 minutes left to rain, do you do 2 laps and go on dries in the wet, or do you do 1 lap and come in and go out on the wets? If it was me, I would, as much as I wouldn't want to do this, I would be staying out on dries for the extra lap.
You can get away with it in ACC a bit more than some other simulators. So again, that'll be a really interesting thing to see. We've got Makita is starting to come up to some lapped traffic. But I think as well that 15 minutes is a nice little. It's not 10 minutes into a stint. It's coming towards the end of a stint, so it's not like there'll be a lot of people that have just come into the pit lane, which will make their life easier. We're going to jump into a replay here and see what has happened to. That is McLaughlin.
Oh, and that's the rear of the Porsche too. That's bad. That's not going to go well for them.
You need downforce where the engine is in the Porsche, and the engine's in the back. So that'll sting a little bit, but might only have to do 2 laps. Oh, that rear end's already not playing nice. He's only going to do probably 1 or 2 more laps, and then he can box. You got taken 30 seconds of tyres. You may as well change driver. You may as well fix the damage and just keep going on.
Good job holding the brakes, though, as to not roll back onto the track.
Absolutely. Easiest lesson you will learn when you start sim racing is if you're in a whoopsie poopsie, just hold your brakes. It's so much easier for everyone else around you to work out what you're going to do if you're going to be sliding around on locked tyres. So we'll keep following Richard here, who's keeping tabs on the back of Luke Johnson at McLaren. The gap's not really, there's no risk for position, but they're both sort of running at the same pace. And being an enduro, that's kind of a nice place for your head to be able to be at, sort of not hot lapping by yourself. Because that's when your brain can start to switch off a little. We've got another replay here of Brent's. Oh, that's a big old
That's a big
stack.
hit.
That'll be
that's
a
not
minute of damage, and right at the start of a lap as well is it's a long time to have to put that damage away and get around the rest of the track. So that'll sting a little bit.
We cut away from it now. I was going to say, I don't think it's over yet. We're watching the replay a long time.
And I think we've I don't know if this is just a bit of a timing glitch, but that's showing Lucas Keys in P4.
No, that'd be right.
Which means that we've seen some pit stops already for the likes of Tyson Robbs. And that seemed quite early. So not quite sure if that is legitimate, but or if that's just a timing bug, but we'll see once everyone gets past the next timing beam.
Well, one thing I'm not sure people may have factored in or not is the fuel consumption for doing.
Luke Johnson's in the wall.
There. Lost a position there to Wells. Nicely done. Have people factored in the fuel consumption for a full formation lap as opposed to a short formation lap?
That's a very good point, actually.
Yeah.
And the tyre wear, that's car 16 is a yellow flag as well, just at now forced. I think Tyson's been in the wall hard. That's a very sad looking Porsche.
And that is Keys in P4 as well.
Look away, Sean Muller.
Yeah. Do not look. Mag's getting through there. Tyson's got the skill, though, to bring it back if he can. That is an unhappy Volkswagen. Porsche.
Never gets old. Never ever gets old.
Oh my gosh, that didn't look nice.
We might ask our broadcast to see if we can go on board and see how much left or right hand down. Oh, that steering's relatively straight, actually. He hasn't got too much suspension damage, but I think he's managed to send it nose first into the wall, which if you're going to stick it in the wall is probably what you want to do. But
in a Porsche.
He's walking around. We'll see if he can. And that's, the rain's in 15 minutes, which means they'll have to do a stop to repair that damage and then do another stop to take on the wet. So that's gonna burn a little bit for Tyson and the Oz Team Racing car.
It's about this point of the lap he's thinking, no, I can get one more lap out of this before the rain. And it's like, no, don't push it, guys. It's just box for the damage. 1 minute damage can very quickly turn into 3 minutes of damage and a return to garage. So speaking from experience there, it's always best not to risk it.
But what if I want a biscuit?
Well, that's what Uber Eats is for, Hobbsy.
We don't have that here, though, Ben.
Buying a single biscuit.
You buy a packet of them. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Come on, chat. What's your favourite biscuit? This never causes controversy. This never ever causes controversy.
Double chop Tim Tams or you're wrong. That's it.
Oh, Tim Tams are great.
Double coat Tim Tams are great, but you get less in a packet, and that's a problem.
No, because what you do is you buy 2 packets. There you go.
Ah,
yeah.
This is why you're in commentary, Hobbsy, because you're smart.
Ideas, man.
He works for Arnott.
No, I don't.
Lucas Keys now with a bit of a 10-second gap now to Regan Herbert. Just coming onto the start of the main straight here, the Nordschleife, and Philippa Bakita is just coming to the end of it. It's a 30-second long blast of doing nothing but twiddling your thumbs and waiting for that Lexus V8 to go and do what it needs to do. Oreos from the race control bot.
Wrong.
Angus in chat saying, what the F is a Tim Tam? That's a problem. Sector 1, pods.
Pods are great.
They're not
I
biscuits.
have a packet. Well, I have a packet near me though.
Are they the Mars Snickers? What's the
Yes.
flavour?
They're Mars.
Good choice.
Yeah, good choice, Hubsy.
Knickers can go in the bin. They did do special edition raspberry ones. Oh my god. Oh.
Has anyone had the Coke flavoured Oreos?
Are
That-
you cooked in the head?
Yes. And
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
The fact you didn't know, that's a problem.
Oh,
Ferox
fair.
saying any biscuit that makes Hobbsy shut up. That's, you know.
Yep. That's fair enough. Yep.
Murray Snow with the Monte Carlo again. Good choice. See, the Sector 1 sim racing, same pods they count. Initially, and this is, I've been on the internet clearly too long, initially thought they were going for the Tide Pods gag.
Aha.
But
Yes.
I think they've been at Talfe's
people
also
can get-
got a lot of damage. So that's also why Lucas Keys is up there in P4. So I wonder if himself and Tyson Robbs tried to go side by side at a spot you shouldn't go side by side at.
It's possible, and it's tough to pit now because the 5-minute rain hasn't popped up yet. It's only light too, so yeah, I don't know how that's going to go because they'll have to come out on wet, so I can't take dries again. That would be stupid.
What's the? I reckon the time loss for a lap of the Nordschleife on the wets and the dry would be enough to just do another stop. There's a windscreen wiper already going on the Aston Martin on screen.
They're just getting prepared.
It's not raining yet. They're just making sure the button works.
There we go. Marshy's in supporting me in my comment of those Coke Oreos are bad. There you go, Tom. So you're right.
I didn't say they were good. I asked if anyone had tried them. And they are awful.
Okay, great.
But the superior Oreo is the double stuffing Oreo with the extra cream. Because you don't pay extra for it.
Yeah, yes, it's very true. So you also like being unhealthy. Good to know.
I mean, you're eating Oreos. Let's not pretend that normal Oreos are healthy.
But you're being doubly unhealthy.
It's a lot of mental gymnastics going on there.
Yeah.
This is two Victorians working out a problem, everyone.
Yeah. Aren't you Victorian as well, Bender, or am I stupid?
No, I'm from South Australia, mate.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Would not want to be called from Victoria.
And I wouldn't want to be called from South Australia, so the feeling's mutual there.
Yes, thank you, Angus. Double stuffed are the champions. What's better, the AI flavored Coke or the Oreo flavored Coke?
Don't want either of them.
It's a loud silence from the commentary box working out the problem to that one.
Rain is now in 5 minutes.
Oh.
So, so 5 minutes, you'd have to say that, I reckon, I don't know how far along, 5 minutes is, but I reckon Bakita is going to come across the start of the pit lane at about the right time, based on my very rough guess on how long it takes to do a lap of the Nordschleife from where they are. But the back end of that field is going to have, thankfully, probably the straight of the rain.
I'll find out how long the sectors are, and that'll give you an idea. Hang on.
Okay, thank you. And they haven't repaired much damage on that Ferrari. I don't know if they've forgotten, because Admiral Naim has jumped in the car, and it's still looking pretty second-hand. I don't know if maybe they just repaired the suspension damage and left the bodywork as is, which would be an interesting choice. But Admiral is also very, very capable with a steering wheel in his hands and pedals on his feet, so he'll be looking to do a lap or so. He's got the Mustang of Liam Braid running around in front of him. We'll see how much damage, I guess, based on how quickly Admiral catches up with Liam Braid.
Yeah. Now, here's an interesting one for you. So Bakita just passed the Sector 1 line. That's 2 minutes 50. So she's actually going to get probably rain on Dottinger or so, or just before.
That's exciting.
So everybody that's on dries is going to be suffering for this lap.
Oh
part of
no.
this, or
Sorry, just sending the
1/3
weather
of this.
dry in 15 minutes. So it really is a short blast. So to throw all your
You've got to
calculations out
take
the
the
window,
weather, though.
Hobbsy, I think everyone's
Yeah.
going to stay on slicks and just have to tough it out for maybe 10 or so minutes, one, maybe 2 laps, and see if they can hang on.
Only light rain.
Well, it is coming to the end of the stint, so that's not probably a terrible idea.
Means that the dries will be nice and grained up from
Yes.
slippery track, which is a really pleasant experience from my experience, especially on a track like this where you might need a bit of grip from the tyres every now and then.
Well, this is what we all tune in for, to watch how people suffer and how they struggle and overcome. No, it should be good. Hopefully, we get a bit more rain later on rather than just a brief shower. Although I'm sure many people are glad and taking a big sigh of relief right now that it is only a brief rain shower.
Amaral is all over the back of Liam Braid here. He's trying to find a way past that Mustang. It's pretty tricky to get past on what is essentially a public road. It's a very, very handy bit of public road, but it's pretty tight. There's not a lot of room to get offline enough to be able to get your car past another one. But this is probably one of those opportunities coming up, to be honest. We'll keep following these two cars around the end of Sector 1, coming up through to the start of Sector 2. And Amaral's got the inside here, and he's managed to make that work. And that's made a bit easier by the Mustang, but intelligent driving from Liam, understanding that Amaral came up quickly enough behind him that defending's not really going to help his cause. And, Lucas Keys slowly bringing that gap down to Regan Herbert. It's in the single digits now. And that gap, there's the rain. There's the rain. And as you said, Hobbsy, Philippa's just started on the Dottinger straight. So interesting to see if she comes into the pit lane. You wouldn't think so based on the weather prediction. The rain's going to increase in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I think it's going to depend. It really it doesn't necessarily depend on the amount of rain. It depends on the track. So if it goes greasy, they're going to be in trouble, which it has. So so we'll see what Philippa does. If it goes damp quickly enough, they'll pit. But if it's, let's see what they do. They're still going. Yep.
They're still going.
So they're just going to tough it out.
And
I think that's a fair call.
Absolutely. And she has the experience. Obviously, she races in the SRO Endurance with the BS Plus team.
Yeah.
It's fantastic to have representation from that high level of sim racing in our racing here at OOR. They did a 24 hours of Nordschleife where the weather cycle was absolutely
disgusting.
Absurd.
Yeah.
So she absolutely has the experience. Ben Hignet's going to keep on rolling. We haven't seen anyone come into the pit lane yet. Regan Herbert does not come in. There's a car coming into the background. But everyone be on yellow flag watch because it's going to get pretty exciting over the next 10 to 15 minutes because we're coming to the end of stints. We'll see if anyone has started to not have faith in the track. It's only greasy yet, but this is going to be very, very tough at the end of an hour-long stint to keep everything moving forward.
Yeah, it only takes one little moment of uncertainty to really shake your confidence. Then you think, wow, is it like that the whole time, the next corner? It's always best to just back off a little bit and keep it safe rather than trying to push it to the absolute limit. I know it's not the first lap, first corner, but you can't win the race right now. There's still 11 hours and 9 minutes to go. You cannot win the race, but you can significantly diminish your chances of winning the race by sticking it in the fence.
I think it was Matt Nepris there in the 700 BMW that's gone into the pit lane. There's a couple of cars that have jumped up. Nathan Monks in the Aston Martin's now come up 4 places as the grid starts to shuffle. Tyson Robbs finally comes into the pits. He made it around another lap. That's a pretty good effort with that amount of damage. And that rear end's pristine. He's managed to nose that in. So he'll be stopped for a little while to get that damage repaired. That'll be interesting to see if he puts wets on, because that's sort of that. If you had to stop, do you?
I don't know what the strategy would be there, to be honest. It's still greasy track. It'll probably go damp, potentially wet. I'm not too sure.
I don't think there's a right decision, which is what we want as spectators. We don't want that as drivers.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see the strategy calls for him, especially. He might go out on wets and push them, possibly if the track doesn't dry up fast. That could benefit him, maybe. Yeah, so it's damp now, and Bokita is.
It's a comfortable lead.
It is. It is a comfortable lead, having just come past the Sector 1 line. That's going to be a tough call. So
Nipris on dries. That's dry as well. That's dry as well.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that call for Tyson, just on the basis of if they're going to do a full stint again, they're going to have grain tyres. So I don't know how I feel about that. I guess they've got to do something.
Exactly. That damage kind of forced their hand a little bit. And so we'll wait and see how they go, because they will probably. I don't know if we can't tell if they swap drivers yet. It's one of those things about Kumas that we can't tell.
Once they get past the sector,
and that's 3 minutes away. That's 2 laps on every other track.
Or you'll be able to see in the bottom right, because that is the bottom one. The bottom right is up to date.
It is.
The leaderboard will update across the sector, but yeah.
Regan is struggling in that Bentley in the wet. The gap to Lucas is halved, and he's dropped well off the back of Ben Higner in the Ferrari. Yeah. And look how slow he's just coasting around.
Yeah, Bentley's not favourable in the wet, so not too surprised. Lexus sort of always has been pretty favourable in the wet. It used to be hilariously OP many, many versions ago, talking like 1.7, 1.8 almost type update. But, oh, Jesus, he's really pushing it there. He wants to catch up. He's already in half a second. He wants that position. He'll be up 17 if he can get past Regan, but damp track at the moment. Will it go wet? I mean, still rain for another 5, so I'm gonna say it will. I think it will go wet, and that'll change the tides a little bit. Maybe we might see people pitting in for wets. Maybe it's just gonna be tough. There you go. So rain decreasing in 5, stopping around 15, probably 10. So. Oh, that's a bit slippery. I think the drivers will be crunching the numbers and bashing their heads against a wall, but I reckon we might see some alternating strategies.
Ferox is just throwing shade at you in the YouTube chat, by the way, Hobbsy. I'll let you respond to that. Yeah, Lucas is absolutely... And this is one of those situations where it's really useful to have your teammates around, and probably someone else just not racing, just be keeping an eye on things, keeping an eye on what other cars are doing to help sort of inform your strategy decision. So one of the best parts about Enduros is just sort of having your mates around for the entire day, in my eyes. And this is where having a couple of extra people around makes your life so much easier. That gap from Lucas to Regan is still just absolutely tanking. I think Regan's also taking it very easy.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's 1 position loss. If Jack Steele catches up, it's still a top 5.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's going to be a huge loss for him at this point. But we'll see. Keys is just on it. He knows the limits of that Lexus. He does enjoy driving it, and I'm sure he knows where he's at, and he can see the rear end of that big Bentley up ahead of him coming up to the carousel. And still decreasing rain in 5, damp track still. Maybe it's not going to tick to wet. I'm going to probably eat my own words, but it's very unpredictable, this weather in ACC in general, let alone having messed around with the weather settings a little bit. It's certainly going to change things up. There you go. So dry in 5. Woohoo! And I'm Bet you
So
these people are glad. Holy, that was a save.
yeah, I don't think it's going to tick over to wet track. I think it might stay greasy for a little while with the overcast conditions, but yeah, I don't think it's going to quite get to the wet conditions. The rain wasn't really heavy enough or long enough at this stage.
That's
What would
one of the
be-
challenges we were looking forward to, though, was just sort of one of these little showers that comes in at an odd time in your stint. Jeez, Lucas. Yeah. What do you do about that? Because a pit stop's a pretty massive time loss, and I think nearly everyone's committed to just dealing with it, and they've gotten away with it. But when everyone gets a bit more tired, you might not. So that'll be interesting to watch as that gap is well and truly. That Bentley's going to be in trouble on the straight.
Yeah, I think you'll get him on the straight. Guaranteed. That's probably non-negotiable. He'll probably pull a little bit down here as well. He's just wringing the pace out of that Lexus.
Where's the Hyundai logos, Jared?
Yeah, I'd like to find the Hyundai logos on the Toyota. Oh, he's already there and he's not even on the straight yet. This is going to be fantastic.
Mince meat.
Oh!
Look at those tyre marks.
Yeah.
That's excellent. That's fantastic. Watch Lucas Keys drag himself up onto the podium after starting in 20th position, which is a pretty mighty effort for one stint. On the arse of the car. Do you mean the hybrid logos, Jared?
Bootleg? No, it's just Lexus logos, brother. Let Jared have his moment. Whoa. I don't think we can comment on that. Oh, that's not scary at all.
Very brave given these conditions.
Yep.
And he's coming into the
Oh,
pit.
he's got a pit. Ooh.
Yeah, that's again one of the shortcomings of the Lexus is it's a lovely big V8 and it makes you go very, very fast in a straight line.
Bentley's doing the
It
same
goes,
way.
brrr, but it doesn't have the longevity of the Ferrari over a stint. So that'll be music to Philippa and Hignet's ears.
Yes, it's definitely one that they were hoping would be the case. We'll see who has the better pit stop here. Regan's already lined up.
It says hybrid. It says hybrid, Jared.
Yeah, it says hybrid, yeah. Sorry to disappoint. So we're just ticking over 11 hours less. We're an hour into this race, and we've certainly seen a lot of moments from drivers, damage, some good overtakes, some not so good overtakes, rain already, and there's plenty more to come, I'm sure.
Absolutely, and that gap from Philippa to Ben Hignet's just stabilised a little bit. So I suspect Philippa is taking it a bit easy, which when you've got a 30-second lead, you absolutely have the ability to do that. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. The front three now separate a little bit as this pit stop cycle starts. There's still some closer gaps towards the back of the field. Matt Shine over the back of Nathan Monks in P11, P12 is nice and close. You can see Philippa not really stretching that Ferrari too much by her throttle inputs. We'll follow Matt Shine here in the red Ferrari. We've got also on the back Richard Wells. No, it's not Richard Wells, it's someone else. That's a lapped car. But it's a pink Ferrari.
It's not Wells's pink Ferrari, put it that way.
No, it's not. It's not. It's still a nice looking Ferrari.
It is. Oh, Wells
Matt
settling
lets the Ferrari
through.
through. Number 75.
7-5. Oh, wait, there you go. Rain. I was literally about to say, when's the rain stopping? And there it is. So I knew I was going to ask.
It's gone.
Yep. So now we just wait to see how long it takes the track to dry out. That'll be the interesting thing.
So Bender, are you hoping it rains in your stint? Or are you hoping for just a nice, dry, easy, do your lap times, get out of the car, hand it to someone else? What are you looking forward to when you jump in the car a bit later on?
Mitch, can you believe Tom's asked me that question?
Yeah, I can answer that for Bender. Rain. That's the answer.
Tom, I've got my first stint during the night. I'm hoping it absolutely buckets down. That is going to be fun to drive, absolutely hilarious, pure carnage. Yeah, anytime you get rain and night racing combined is always a good time, in my opinion. So that's what I'm hoping for.
But how does it go, Bender, when you get Bender and Paul Ricard? How does that go?
It doesn't go,
No.
We've actually run Paul Ricard in the last couple of years now, I think. So,
Yeah, the last Paul Ricard Enduro was about 2 years ago now. So,
and it was buckling with rain, and it went from that hilarious one where it was raining, like pelting down, dried out slightly, but never got dry enough for slicks.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Just how Bender likes it. How about the rejoins at Paul Ricard, Bender? What's your comment on that?
Legendary.
Don't know about that one.
part of Octane Online Racing law. That's what it is.
If you don't know about Bender's rejoin at Paul Ricard, you need to go and educate yourself. It's like a rite of passage to get into OOR, I think.
I want to go grab a link to the clip in Twitch.
Yeah, here we go. Surely, it's got the clip queued up.
Go and find it.
Malak would have already played it 5 seconds ago by now. Yeah, he's got it on speed.
Good old man.
Got it for you, Glenn. It's in the text chat of the voice channel that we run around in for this commentary. So we will have that for everyone's benefit a bit later on. But it's pretty hard to take your eyes. Just whenever Bender's on screen, just put that clip on instead. Jared saying, wish he was racing. Why aren't you racing, Jared? I thought I saw you guys entered. Big shame that you guys couldn't make it along. It's always good to have a bigger grid.
Oh,
Jamie Convoy.
Bloody hell. Jamie Convoy. Seriously, Jamie. Whoever's in the combox with him later, please roast him. Thank you.
I think I've got to sit with him later on, so yeah, I'll leave that one.
Roast him.
He'll be jumping into the box as soon as Bender, Mitch and myself hop out. So Cat's gonna absolutely ream him if at all possible. He's got Ferox and Blake Griffiths as well for your entertainment for that hour or so. Looking forward to having the rest of these 12 hours come out. And Eric Scarney has jumped into the Lexus car, and Nathan Henderson has jumped into the Pit Viper Bentley. So good to see Scarney back after a little while in the rallying wilderness. Always good that, going back to sort of, there's a couple of sim racing veterans. He is absolutely one of them. He's been around with OOR for a long time now. Very, very good to see him back behind the wheel on tarmac.
Yeah, as you said, he's very quick in the rally series for OOR. Quick shout out to that. If anyone's interested in getting into some rally, you're more than welcome to join anytime. We run races or events, rallies if you like, over a 2-week period, so you can hop in and out and do the stages at your own pace, whether that's all at once, over a few days, come back to it, do it on the weekend. So it's a very accessible series.
Yep.
All the information on the Discord. So if you want to get involved in rally, it's definitely worth picking up.
Yep, it's currently at Rally Corsica at the moment in Group A cars, and if people watch my stream the other day, I binned it. So yes, have fun to everybody who,
I remember that final stage where you were maxed out about 80 k's an hour because your engine had given in.
Yes, because my engine box had given in. Yes,
lost a few cylinders.
I did lose a few cylinders, but yes, do join in if you'd like to get in on the action. If you want to get in early on the upcoming action for next year, after this race, I'd say come tomorrow or early to late next week, the sign-ups for the 2025 Duo Series will be open. So jump in and get signed up for that once they do come out, those sign-ups. And it's 4-round series over a couple of months at, I believe it's Laguna, Brands, and I can't remember the other two, which is embarrassing. Suzuka
Duos.
and somewhere else.
Yeah, Duos is honestly one of the best series to run in because
Yeah.
you get so many cars on the grid because everyone loves to just team up with a mate and just run around for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Proper fun. Highly recommend jumping in for that one.
If you're not in there, I will be disappointed.
I am in there.
Oh, okay, great. Well, you haven't signed up yet, have you?
No.
No, exactly.
will.
So you're not in there yet.
I will do it. Peter Papineau
As I say,
has-
you just beat me to it.
jumped into the chat. Hello, mate. That was a very, very good stint from you. Let us know how you went. And that is
yes.
Emerald Name.
Yes.
With Bull Ring
Red
and
Bull
Brand
Ring, that's
Patch.
the other one.
So, looking forward to it. JC's in the chat. Everyone, give him absolute hell because he got a penalty.
That's right. Take the piss, everybody. Disappointed, JC. You should know better.
Who'd you kill?
Yeah. The comms box hopes and dreams.
We are absolutely coming to the end of the stint, though. For a lot of these cars, there'll be a lot of cars coming into the pit at the end of this lap, and probably looking forward to getting rid of some old dry tyres that have grained up and absolutely have nothing left. We can see Hignet's in the pits, Cordier's in the pits. I think Bakita might have already left the pits or has managed to fuel safe for another lap, which would be bloody incredible if she did.
To the gap to Macadam, I'd say she's pitted.
She has.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
that would make sense. So everybody coming into the pits now, Shine in the pits, Monks, everyone in the pits for Shooty, and everybody's in the pits. That's Wells in the pits there. So we'll see some driver changes and some new tyres coming on for these teams, and we'll see what this next stint brings.
Another lap for Macadam is pretty impressive. I don't know if they might have pitted a bit earlier or something, but that is, if they managed to fuel save in that Bentley. Running map 3, and I'm not a Bentley expert, but that doesn't seem like the standard ACC. You run map 1.
It's not. It is a fuel-saving map.
So they're running long. They've done some thinking about their strategy, which is cool to see. The track is still greasy after the rain shower, so
But
Macadam and the Winner Bin team going long.
But this is ACC, so that greasy will become optimum in probably a lap.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Jackery Coon chat asking about next year. We've got a full calendar in 2025 for ACC. Maybe. We've got the first sort of quarter of the year all set up already because you kind of need to book weekends and things like that.
Yeah.
So we've got the first quarter probably set up. There'll be a sprint series, there'll be a duo series, there'll be some duo races tucked
There's a
around.
Bathurst 12-hour.
There's a Bathurst 12-hour if you're weird and like Bathurst Enduros.
There you go, Feb 15.
Always a popular event at OOR, so recommend jumping in on that one as well. So yeah, the first quarter of the year is set up, and I suspect there'll probably be some stuff towards the middle part of the year, but we're also starting to get towards Assetto Corsa Evo coming out, and that's probably where the community will head. There's also some iRacing events coming up, which if you enjoy throwing your money at the wall, you can jump in with those. They are running on the free cars and tracks at the moment, so it's literally just a subscription, and that's subject to a Black Friday discount. Highly recommend jumping in for that. And I think AMS2 has an update coming up. We might run some events in that. So it's a pretty busy first quarter of the year coming up, I'd have to say.
you have a release date for AC Evo?
Uh,
I mean, I
Mate.
assume it's going to be the standard early access release and then gradually add content over time, deal like ACC and AC were.
the Steam release date is 17th of January 2025, but that is, as you said, early access. Probably not going to be in a good state to start with in terms of being able to run events like this in it, but we look forward to seeing what Kunis can do. Matt Lamb has jumped into the Ferrari at the front of the field. Philip has handed the reins over to that prancing horse, and Josh Holmes has hopped into the Arena 69 car. So he's got a 14-second gap to the Bentley ahead, who is still running long. Nathan Henderson has gotten ahead of Eric Scarney, who has made it quite clear that his goal is not to run the absolute fastest, but just to be consistent and not put it in the wall. And I think he's letting that Hendo go, is following true to that. So we look forward to seeing where he ends up at the end of the stint. I think everyone else has pitted apart from McAdam, so that's pretty impressive to be going a lap longer than everyone else.
Just tell Scarney it's the power stage. That's all he needs to know. This is quite impressive in the Bentley, the amount of fuel saving they managed to pull here. They can do this consistently throughout the whole race. That would save them at least one, possibly even 2 pit stops.
When McAdam and Dylan Smith, they're running as a team of 2 for this race. Teams of 2 for a 12-hour is a lot of driving to do, but they're both also very, very quick. Both did 8-minute 10s or lower in qualifying, which is motoring. So they're not here just because of a strategy. They're also pretty bloody quick. So looking forward to seeing where these guys can make things end up in the boat, running their fuel-saving map. And just having a look back down the field, Tyson Robbs has jumped in for another stint, kind of atone for his first stint crimes. Takes the purple lap. If that's what ACC Drive is showing correctly. I'd be surprised if it wasn't in the 89 car's hands, but that's the cool thing about these Enduros. You can have people pretty quick, way down the bottom end of the field, making things happen. So we'll keep following this story as it unfolds. There we go. 2 people to the fastest lap. Literally never happens. Austin McNeil's on it.
Welcome to the game line to us about who's got the fastest lap.
Bloody Kunos.
Wouldn't be the first time. Something I just mentioned in chat there. Oh, there we go. So this is the fastest lap pop up on 8 minutes.
Oh,
8 minute 10.
8:10.
That's
Wow.
quick.
That's cooking.
About the ACC package, obviously you can buy the Ultimate Edition or whatever it's called, where it includes all the DLC and what have you. There is a Steam sale. It's, I think, the Halloween sale, the Autumn sale, whatever they call it right now. Things generally are discounted in this. If it's not at your price point, there will be the much vaunted and esteemed Steam Christmas sale or Steam New Year sale that will be in December. It usually runs from Christmas or a couple of days before or after to first week of January. If you don't want to jump in at the full price, yeah, you've got a couple of options where you can pick games or ACC up or different DLC up at cheaper price points. So worth looking out for if you're interested in picking anything up.
Are you promoting that because you, like me, probably just got the same pop-up from Steam saying the sales on?
No, I didn't get that pop-up. Someone in chat was
did.
asking about the price for it. So
Mine just beeped at me saying there was a sale. Wow.
We've got a stint timer up on screen for you. McAdam's up to 1 hour and 15, and given they're a 2-man team, it wouldn't surprise me if he double stints as well, because he's in tune with that Bentley. The track's still greasy, still not quick. But,
yeah, it's just those cooler conditions and the cloud that's not really letting it dry up, unfortunately, for them.
So, just coming on to Dothinger now. if he doesn't pit now, he's an absolute madman. Surely he has to.
You'd think he'd have to, yeah.
I'm going to say he's going to do one more. I believe. He's got me sold.
He can't, surely. That'd be ridiculous.
Speciality with a good point as well.
That will definitely save fuel, but surely not that much fuel. Like, that's insane.
We obviously haven't got the telemetry up, so we can't see if John's got the lift and coast going. But now's the he's gone hard right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Gone hard right. Yeah. Nah.
Sucked in, Bender. You were wrong.
I'll see you on track later, Hobbsy.
No, I'm not racing. So no, you won't.
See you on track at the next event.
But yeah, Specialized with a very good point. If you haven't had iRacing before, a Motorsport Australia esports license is $30. It gets you a year of iRacing and the F4 car if you like your open wheelers. So that's a very, very good shout. If you haven't had it before and you haven't thrown money at it already, that's a very good way to get into the game. Highly recommend. If you are Australian,
it does take them a little bit
do
to
that.
approve those, but do it. If you are wanting to look at iRacing, it's a very cheap option.
Just having a look at the Steam sale. Need for Speed Heat has been discounted from $99.95 to $4.99.
Nice.
95% discount.
That's hilarious.
Well deserved. Yep.
There,
thank you.
Yes.
F4 series starting in January, so get onto it now so they can approve it. You get the car. Have we worked out what tracks we're running for that yet? Is it going to be free tracks or a couple of paid ones hanging out in there as well? Glenn, who's running our broadcast and also administrating that series. Glenn, for those who don't know, is OOR's CTO. The voices in my ear saying there are going to be 6 paid and 6 non-paid. So, opportunity if you don't want to pay for tracks to still participate, get some numbers on the grid. It'll be good to see numbers on there because then we can justify broadcast, we can justify Steward, we can do all sorts of things. So, very good to see some people get involved in that as time goes on. Following here, Daniel Webb in the Red Rebel Racing Ferrari entry, running just ahead of Chris Davis in the Irish Porsche, who have all made pretty good ground off the start into the top 10 from midway into sort of that 15th area at the start. Both these cars running around. Dan going a little bit wide on the exit of that little fast chicane onto the back GP circuit straight. So you're not racing this one, Hobbsy, but if you were racing, what car would you have chosen?
Probably the Aston, I think. Nice stable car, good fuel consumption, good tyre wear. Yeah,
Works well in the wet.
Yeah, works well in the wet. Good on curbs. So yeah, probably picked Aston, I'd say.
I wish the V12 Aston was relevant in any capacity. I remember it was a couple of years ago, did the 12-hour Bathurst in that one with Sticky, and
yeah,
it was just amazing driving that, listening to it roar down the straights. Oh, so good. But that was a bit of fun, but wasn't particularly competitive.
But sometimes you do these to have fun.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You always do these to have fun. Come on, Tom.
As Sean Muller said in the intro, endurance is fun at OOR.
That's right.
And everyone out there on track is having fun right now. Even that worse for wear Ferrari that Amaral is hustling around.
Oh, look, I don't know about that. I don't know if he's enjoying that.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone's got their own thing. We're currently following Jaden Rondinella in the Skill Issue Racing entry, who is similarly famous for a specific clip of driving. There's a gif of that. But They're running around in P14. That's Jaden, that's Nathan Monks, and that is Sean Muller, who is making his Enduro comeback after an enforced break, let's call it.
Yep.
Very, very good to see Sean back and running around. There's some other cars that he used to spend some time with this Sector 1, also putting a couple of entries in. So good to see some representation from some typically Gran Turismo 7 enjoyers, which is yeah, really good to see that we've got some participants that aren't necessarily OOR regulars.
Get
Do either of you
involved,
guys, sorry, obviously, do either of you guys know much about Gran Turismo 7? I mean, I know Sony have been porting a lot of their games to PC. Has there been any mention of that at all, or?
I don't think Gran Turismo was on the list from what I've read. You're correct
that's a
in that
shame.
they are porting games to PC, but Gran Turismo was not on the list that I have read anywhere.
It would be very cool if it did.
Yeah.
It'd be very, very cool. But yeah, I have not got my hopes up. I think their focus is for other things at the moment.
Yeah, I would tend to
Yeah.
agree.
I mean, it is a console seller, if you like. I mean, I was a bit hopeful. I mean, I don't really, obviously being on PC, I don't follow it that much, but
Yep.
no, fond memories of playing it back in the old PS2 days.
What was your Gran Turismo entry? Was it 3 or 2?
Number 3.
3, same. The old red PS2 box. Remember that one very, very well. Still has the best intro of any Gran Turismo game. That Just a Day by Feeder. Absolute ripper of a song.
See a nice move here from McAdam on Davis, going through the inside. Track is now back to optimum. Hobbsy, you weren't far off, mate. It went from greasy, then I don't know if it went to fast.
I think it
straight
went
to
fast slightly and then straight to optimum, yeah.
There was a puddle left somewhere. And that was why it was still fast. And then that
Yeah,
puddle dried
probably.
up.
one puddle.
So it's one of those things in Enduros. We're an hour and a half in, and the grid has absolutely spread right out, as it tends to do. But it's a big track for everyone to spread out on. But there's still, you know, a couple of really big packs. You know, I'm looking at car 536 is leading an absolute train of cars. That's Scott Rochford in the Polygon Races entry, running around with Jamie Comboy and Mike Crick. They were going to take the Honda, but they pussied out. as was well described. Scott's got Luke Johnson behind in the Rockets Evolved McLaren, who's doing a double stint. Scott's also obviously got a 10-second penalty for hold on to that. Manages to keep everything going in a straight line, but he's got a couple of cars behind him. And, it'll just be a case of just keep your eyes forward. Rob Wenzel in the number 2 entry that Ben is going to be joining in later as well. In that queue of cars, there's some pretty big names in OOR in this queue at the moment.
Bender's got his pom-poms out cheering for Rob, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Rob's done a great job. It's a big feed.
Zuma.
He's an OOR veteran, needless to say as well. He's been in OOR for longer than I think I've been in OOR.
He is one of the OGs. So to be, when I use the term OG, you must have been on the grid in OOR's first F1 league race all the way back in 2017. There's only a handful of people still actively around from that time, many years ago now.
Were you born at that point, Hobbsy?
Yeah, fair comment there. Fair comment, yeah. That was year 8, Tom. That was year 8.
Year 8. Jeez.
Yeah.
Year 8. What did I even do in year 8?
That's, no, you can't say that on stream. And I know, let's not even go there.
I think it was COD 4 for me. That was all the
Yeah.
rage in year 8.
Jeez, COD 4, Modern Warfare. Absolute ripper of a game. What a shame that franchise has gone where it's gone.
Yeah.
To a disaster.
Yeah, it is a disaster. Oh, well, it depends. It's a disaster for players and the community. It is an absolute financial behemoth for Activision.
Yeah. Oh, what's going on here? Goodness me.
Side by side, what a place to do it. And then if you're Luke Johnson, Scott Rochford, you get to decide who gets the toe, because the track's wide enough. And we're going to go 4x4.
Yeah,
I want to go
let's do
back
that.
to the iRacing discussion where you run the MX-5s here, and literally the race is just survive until the straight, and then you've got a pack of 8 cars all trying to fight for a toe. It is so much fun. Absolute hoot. Highly recommend getting into that sort of thing. But Luke Johnson has gotten past Scott Rochford. Rob Wenzel has held position over Phil Slade. That Ford. Whose face is on the end plates of those cars of the Ford vendor? I saw a face, I think.
You did. You've probably seen a couple of faces. I think there's a couple of memes on there. I believe one of them is George Russell.
Okay.
Ah, great.
And the other one might be Lando at some point, or Max.
Ah, so you've gone for the Max Verstappen 23-hour meme livery. They've just cover it in memes.
Yeah, we've got a few of our own memes on there. Some returning memes. So I think the FIA Stewards Max Verstappen plus 10 seconds is on there as well.
Ah, good. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
I know Lando in the clown hair with the red nose saying it's luck not skill is on the roof.
Yeah.
No,
Not endorsing any particular driver, just embracing the memes for those that are perhaps trying to line up which side of the fence we're on. Do we support this team or that team? No, just the memes and the banter is where we are.
If it's funny, it's on the car.
Yep, exactly.
If you've got any memes on your livery, I know it's always fun to just sneak in a little Easter egg on some liveries. Let us know in the chat, because we'd love to highlight them as the race goes on. Or if you're particularly proud of your work, let us know, because we'll give you a shout out. There's some absolutely spectacular artists and livery creators in this community. So if we can get some time on the screen, that'll be well worth it, and we'll be happy to organise that for you. As Scott and Phil Slade, BMW and BMW, Phil absolutely wringing the neck of the BMW behind, try and get past Scott in the BMW in front. JC asking Philippa to take a competition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
That's fantastic.
JC, what are your thoughts about that image? Lando's obviously on pole for the Qatar sprint race later this evening.
I forgot that existed. When is the sprint race?
Uh,
Please hold, I'll find out.
Yeah, I'm on it. The sprint is at 1 a.m. Melbourne time
I
tomorrow
don't
morning.
think so.
No?
Maybe. If I'm feeling generous.
The actual race qualifying is at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's a no.
And
Disgusting.
the Grand Prix is on Monday morning
3
at 3 in the morning.
Again, I'm thinking no on that one.
This is the benefit of why you pay for something like KO Sports, so you can get up at a reasonable time and watch a replay.
He's not sponsored by KO Sports. Anyone interested to know?
These are all non-sponsored plugs today, guys.
Go and have a look at that
Yeah.
Ford and see if there's a KO sticker on it somewhere. Do not trust the man.
No.
Someone say KFC.
No.
I literally
I
just
don't
got
care.
a ping on my phone from the KFC app, so...
Oh, that's
yes, I did.
hilarious.
The lunch deals have started. The lunch
When?
deals have started, and it is almost midday, so it's almost time for lunch, and I've got to think about that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about lunch too, actually. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I think I have to leave the house, and it's raining very hard.
That is
Really
unfortunate, yeah.
making it very, very sad for myself. Stefano Ricciuti in the So Fucking Slow. Again, a very long time OOR racer. Very, very good to see Stefano, as always, running around, being followed by Austin McNeil in the 700 MRT entry. He's got Amaral Name also still behind him. I think that Ferrari's struggling to get past the BMW with all that damage. And Amaral is absolutely wringing the neck of that Ferrari. And so it'll be another stint of Austin hopefully turning his mirror off and just focusing on what's in front of him. But
we'll see about that.
We will see about that. Matt Powell, if anyone at KO wants to reach our open sponsorship opportunities. That'd be cool if we get these broadcasts on KO.
That would be great.
We'd have to be professional.
They wouldn't have us stupid sods on there, though.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they get David Croft on for these?
Absolutely not. Let's get David Christie on there.
Matt White, bring him back.
Just bring him back. Let's not get Garth Tander on. Oh my goodness! Austin McNeil's a madman.
He's made it happen,
That
though.
could have ended. Yeah, yeah. Sure.
That BMW
That's how
is
you want to put it.
looking... Is that a blue flag car? I think it might be.
Surely not. That was
regardless.
way too ambitious for a blue flag overtake. Come on.
Was a blue flag. Wow. Isn't that adventurous?
McNeil with the drifting going on there. Somewhere in the distance we can hear some Eurobeat music.
You just watch a GTR run around. At the front, things have spread right out at the moment. It's Matt Lamb, the 89, by 33 seconds from Josh Holmes, who is 22 seconds ahead of Nathan Henderson, who's 11 seconds ahead of Jack Steele, who's 12 seconds ahead of Cordier, who's 10 seconds ahead of Eric Scarney. So it's all started to spread out now, which I always found this is the hardest part of endurance, when you're just sort of hot lapping by yourself.
Yeah.
Without sort of someone to sort of have close enough in front of you just to pay attention to. It's one of those things that it's part of the mental game.
Yeah.
But, that we are hoping that these guys have some company in the team speak to keep them entertained while they're circulating. John McAdam running around in P7, 2 seconds off the back of Eric Scarney. Hopefully not still fuel saving, because that'll be... He's running 8.16s in fuel saving. That is incredible.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised looking at when I saw the grid and I saw Matt Lamb in a Ferrari. For anyone who knows Matt Lamb, he strongly hates the Ferrari, so I'm very shocked to see him driving it.
He strongly hates most things, to be fair.
Look, the Ferrari's one of them, yes. Oh, well, John just did his fastest lap of the race there too.
There you go.
8:16.950. Maybe he's turned up the engine map.
Yeah, he's in map 1. He's in map 1.
Ooh, maybe they're running map 3 later in the stint. The sun's coming out though, which is nice.
It might be a rear tyre protection thing. Never know. We'll look forward to one of his teammates, Dylan Smith, coming into chat, letting us know what the rough plan is. You don't just give away your entire strategy, but you're definitely doing something a bit different to everyone else, and that's good to see.
Yeah. I just got thrown for a minute. I was looking at the in-game time and saw it was 3:30. I'm like, we've only been racing for an hour 35, and then I was like, oh, hang on. There's a 2 times race multiplier here.
teaching chat saying Matt hates the Porsche more than the Ferrari these days.
Yes, this is true. He doesn't. No, some of the strong words he said, I've heard him say about the Ferrari. I tend to disagree with that comment. This is McAdam on Scarney now.
It is.
And Webb's in on this too. If I was Webb, let's just sit back and let's just wait to see what happens here, because John's got more pace than Scarney at the moment. So if Webb just sits back, he might be able to sneak through with McAdam if he just gets it right. Oh, stuck the nose out too. He's trying to put a bit of pressure on. But if Scarney knows pressure, which he does because he has co-drivers in WRC screaming numbers at him every corner and he gets them all right, I'm sure this is nothing for him. Oh, that Bentley looks so planted.
Aren't you switching to Bentley for the second half of the Sprint Series?
Oh, I might be. More so because the brakes on the Lamborghini are annoying me. About the same on the Bentley, but I can at least handle the Bentley. Lambo's a good car, don't get me wrong, but got to go back to my Bentley roots. I'll wear my Bentley shirt for Sprint Series every time I drive it.
Do we have any Lambos in the field today?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
Which is sad because I've driven. All right, McAdam, let's calm it down there, big fella. I've driven the Lambo around here for an 8 hour and it was fantastic. Could not fault it. I could fault myself because I've binned the chance of P1 twice, but the car was great.
I think the Lambo is one of those cars where there are some people who just don't get along with it, and if you don't get along with it, you never will.
Yeah, you either do, you don't. I can get along with it. It's just those small little things about it that annoy me. And it's just like, right.
The diff doing the weird things on corner entry sometimes.
Yeah.
One of those big ones that a lot of people just don't really understand how to. You don't tame it out. You just got to work with it.
Yeah.
And
yes, exactly. You could try and set up it. Use the setup to get rid of it. But yep, there you go. Confirmation. No Lambos in the field. Which is a Lambo best car. I don't know if I would say it's the best car. Certainly a good car, but I wouldn't say it's the best car.
If you drove the Lambo when it was cracked at Suzuka, it is an awesome.
Oh, that was. I never drove that, but I remember seeing people driving it. Hilarious.
But, Eric has let McAdam go.
Yep, that's fair. I think that's a fair enough one. I think you might have to let Webb through if he's not careful, because Davis isn't too far behind either.
He's just motoring around, is Mr. Scarney. Is fine. Lucas got keys, obviously did a hell of a job wrangling that thing up from the mid-pack up into the front echelons.
That's a big word.
Yeah, it is a big word, isn't it? Very, very big word.
This corner is very scary at the end of the straight because it's not a full lift. It's like a partial lift. And if you get it wrong, it's not going to go very well for you.
You're going pretty quickly when you get there, aren't you? You're going very, very quickly when you get there.
200. I think it's like mid 200, low 200, something like that. That's pretty scary. I think in real life they actually brake there. I think they tap the brakes. All right, yep, Scarney wants to use all the curb. Let's see how he goes through the carousel. And there you go, that's what I'm talking about. So Webb will get through here because... And so will Davis. So that's a double loss of position there for... I've lost my words there, Scarney. I was distracted by all the words going on in my head.
We've also just been... You go.
I was going to say, to me that looked like a strategic, okay, I don't want these guys behind me. How can I let them through without losing the most of the time?
Which, it's not a terrible place to do it, but he would have lost quite a lot of time having been up above the carousel. So it's paid off. He's still within touching distance, but they are going to pull away pretty quickly now, I would suspect.
seen a drive-through penalty for car 75 for an unsafe rejoin. They're running around down in 31st place. Garney on the ragged edge.
That's YouTube corner for you. Is that car damaged?
It's got a bit of a scrape on the side, hasn't it? I don't know if
I was
it's
also
a
looking at the
wall or-
front.
Yeah, left side does look like it's scraped
Yeah.
against a wall or a barrier. Just going back to the Lambo being cracked at Suzuka chat, what sort of I didn't see that. What sort of level was that on? Was that reminiscent of the
Hilarious.
Honda being amazing at Bathurst only way back in the day?
No, we're talking old Mercedes type speed.
Oh,
McLaren
wow.
at Spa. McLaren at Spa type speed.
Or
Yeah,
McLaren,
okay.
McLaren
Wow.
at Spa. Yeah, it was cracked. Not anymore, but it was. It was good, probably what, 4 or 5 tenths faster. It's hilarious.
Easily. It was, but it was hilarious, and it was also fun to drive. Like you had
Yes,
this like
exactly.
little slide through sector 1 through all the S's that just the car just hooked up. It was properly fun to drive. And so the Suzuka 12-hour we did a while ago was mostly Lambos.
No, really?
I don't know why.
Couldn't tell you why. It's interesting just looking at the track map and the massive gap in Sector 1.
And that's the gap in front of our race leader, who's got
Yep.
absolutely no traffic to contend with. You couldn't even pit and fall back into that gap. It is exactly what you want as the race leader, is nothing to cause you grief. And has Matt Lamb got that and a half? Perrock saying the M6 at the British GT tracks as well was.
Oh,
fun
that was a great
combination.
sounding car, the M6. Oh, I wish that would come back, but shame that it can't. That big boat of a car. I remember when it was broken at the British GT tracks. That was some of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Was this broken when the M4 released at Silverstone?
Yes,
Oh, that
was hilarious. I remember when we did the Silverstone 12-hour and we had like mostly M4s. Oh, that was great.
And it was banned for a while because it was that busted.
Yeah. It was banned when it first came out because of how OP it was. Or no, it came out. We drove it in OR for a bit, and then it was banned because it was hilarious. It was amazing how OP it was. No car that has been released since then has been that OP. The Audi came semi-close, but
But the Audi, you got to
much.
drive a TC off to make it that busted now. And
Now, yes, but at the time that wasn't the case.
and the
But yes,
Mustang
now
is
you gotta
also
drive a TC.
kind of unbeatable at any track with a straight.
The Mustang is an underdog at most tracks because you wouldn't think. Yes, it pulls on the straights, but you wouldn't think it's very good through the corners. But it just on the exit and then through it is just hilarious, and the brakes are unbelievable on it. So it's just one of those really underdog cars. Yeah, that's right. British GT DLC. First few days of release, the M6 had an insane boost on the turbos. It did. It was doing like 40, I think it was like 45s or 44s at Snetterton. It was hilarious. Yeah,
And
old
the,
Porsche at Laguna. It's still fast there. It's still low 20s, well, high 20s. It's hilarious.
The M4 continued that trend of just having oddly high boost, especially at Donington.
Yeah, I remember when it was good there. That was funny.
Still is.
Oh, it's still good, but it's not as good as it used to be, as much as I wish it was. Yeah, new AMG at Imola on DLC release. That was funny too. Remember the old 488 suspension? Holy mother, that was funny.
The old McLaren is still competitive at Spa. We've got a replay here. Stop us
It is.
waffling.
This is the bad rejoin.
No, it's Luke John. This
Oh,
is
he
the
got-
rain, so it's...
Oh, he got tapped by the 75 car.
Okay. Yeah, that is...
So yeah, that was a tap from the 75 car on the 111 car, which that's not great, which I believe they received a penalty for. So that's not a great one. That Ferrari is still looking pretty sad, isn't it?
Yes. And they'd be due for a pit stop soon because they pitted quite early in the first hour. So, but he is past Stefano Rasciuti, his Amarul. Looking down that list, I can't see Scott Rochford. I don't know if they've had to come into the pits again or if something's happened, but yeah, so he's now got some free air. We'll see what that is. That keeps everything going. The Bison GSR car, if anyone remembers the Bison
Yeah.
gag from Kyalami Sprint Series, it'll never go away.
Someone who doesn't participate in the sprint series, is it PG rated for the stream that we can catch people up, or?
Yes, so for those who weren't aware, obviously we had the sprint series at Kyalami, and so the announcement went out that someone was going to be doing the walkthrough, and as per usual in Discord, everyone spams a couple of emojis on the post, and I believe Igor Zavaka put a bison emoji, and there's a couple of resident South African expats in OOR that took great offence that a bison was associated with South Africa. Immense offence. So now we've just come from we come from Kyalami, and the car is covered in bison.
That's
Excellent. Love that.
How many PSI
Well,
boosts these cars run? I don't know actually, Murray.
not
Good
a
question.
clue. Can find out.
How much boost does a GT3 car run?
Ooh, there you go. The Steward's getting the big stick out again. Aiden Holton gets a drive through for causing collision on a lap. Numero 12.
Lap 12, that lap number is going to stay lower than I will ever
Yeah.
expect being in
Yes,
Like, I'm
I know.
used to seeing sort of lap 100 by now, but
We're going to see probably...
Well, the leaders are on lap 13, so.
yeah, so only... We're still on lap 12 technically. Oh, sorry, yeah. Lap 13, so yeah, only recent, to put it that way.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't even think we're going to see 100 laps here.
12 laps after... 13 laps per 2 hours. 13 times 6
No.
is less than 100.
Yeah, we're going to see, what, 70, 80 laps or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's right, something a bit different rather than, in a
Yeah.
12-hour race doing 370 laps, which is
Yeah.
just stupid.
I think we cracked 500 or 600 at Spa for the 24 last year, didn't we?
I think so. There you go, JC. 81 laps total.
I absolutely did more than that at the Spa 24.
Yeah, yes. Well done.
Myself.
Yes, I think I did more than... I didn't do that many, actually, at the Spa 24. I think I only did about 3 stints.
Car 492 is run into some trouble.
Not great.
And they've been
Who dat?
still for a long time now. They must have Austin Powers it. They've managed to get it rolling now. But 492 is the Lemon Racing entry. That is Wesley Yao, Liam Kay, and Kefa Lung. But doesn't look like too much damage on that Ferrari. It was just probably rotated 180 degrees to direction of travel. That's still a bit of work to get it to turn around.
There you go. I just worked out we would have done around low 600s at the 24-hour spa. 630 if we didn't pit, so probably about 610. 620, something
Do
like
you
that.
include the brake change in your calculation there?
No. No, I didn't.
This is also a really nice livery, I reckon. The Ferrari lends itself
I
to a
like
lot of different styles of liveries, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like the... I'm a very simple person. I like the minimalistic liveries. I don't like putting heaps of things on my liveries, although my Bentley livery for the rest of the Sprint Series would beg to differ on that one, but that's okay. I've got a Scottish police car livery for the rest of Sprints.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
I'm going to come and arrest you all. I like that the car, unless it's deceiving me, it's not white.
Yeah,
It looks cream.
it's almost got some grey in it.
Yeah. Paige is disappointed in me.
He's always disappointed in you.
Yeah.
So it definitely looks like Keffer knows his way around the track, so I suspect just a little bit of a boo-boo at an hour before. Looking back
I'll
at
be
that track
commentating about you when you make a boo-boo.
It's unfortunate timing, though.
Boo-boos.
I mean, if I'm reading this correctly, they've made a second pit stop, so possible damage at the start of a stint. Not ideal.
Right. No. Will be interesting to see when the drivers do come in for their second stops. It's almost, speaking of stopping, it's almost time for our commentary stint to end, as we will be handing over to three new lovely people to take us for the next hour. And we'll go and have a break, and I don't know, what do we do when we're not in the comms box?
I don't know
well,
what.
we have-
I just turn myself off and
Oh, okay.
Recharge, have lunch for me.
Yeah. Yeah, lunch is looking like a pretty solid option.
What is everyone having for lunch? That is a
Yeah.
big question that I need help answering myself. So I'm going to put it out to chat.
We've
What,
got
what's
Jim Bob
everyone
in chat
doing?
wanting to know how the 150 is doing. Can we get an eye in on the 150?
150 is currently running in P14. Jaden Rondinella behind the wheel at the moment for the Skill Issue Racing car. Just about to hop on to the Nordschleife to do another lap. That is pretty wide on the entry there. He's got Darryl Lim right behind him in that bright pink Ferrari, putting a ton
And
of
Luke
pressure
Johnson
on.
and Kafil Slade. This is going to go brilliantly.
They're running well, that 150 car. They're up a couple of places from where they started. We've kept everything clean so far. Nathan Monks did a very good job in the first stint. Keep everything in a straight line. And now Jaden Rondinella has taken over to keep that Aston Martin rolling, and Sean Muller will be chomping at the bit to hop into that car and run around the Nordschleife a bit later on. We'll grab a replay here of a Ferrari going hard into the wall, number 75 car. That's Carlo Babic. That's the unsafe rejoin.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
And that's a big penalty too, because it didn't take anyone. If he'd taken someone out there, that would have been a stop-go 30, I'd say.
If not a stop go and then a drive through.
And then,
we didn't
yeah.
know that Steward said we will give pretty hefty penalties, because
Yeah.
you can cost someone a lot of time on this track.
You can, yeah.
That's Luke Johnson past Darryl Lim. So Darryl's made a mistake looking at the back end of that Aston Martin and decided to let the McLaren have a crack. So still plenty going on in this race for some of the drivers here, especially in the midfield. There's still a lot of cars very, very close together. Very, very close together indeed. we'll keep following Daryl here, who's dropped a little bit off the back of the McLaren of Luke Johnson and the Rockets Evolved team. Reminder is that they started from the back, hence the plus 18. Daryl up 14 places after Richard Wells put in a fantastic first stint. And yeah, so we're 3 minutes off the 2-hour mark of this race. We're nearly a sixth of the way through.
Yep.
Starting to settle down just a little bit, especially at the front. That's a 48-second gap from Matt Land to Josh Holmes. Not settling down here though.
No, it's yes, there's still plenty to go. Anything can happen. That gap could come down. It could extend. Who knows? There could be some more rain that could change things up. I mean, there's no rain on the radar at the moment. Still overcast or big patches of cloud and things like that.
It's funny you mentioned that, Hobbsy. It could just be me reading too much into this. I've been flicking back between the broadcast view and view from my car. It just looks a little bit darker. I don't know. Maybe that's
yeah, it does. Yeah. No, it does. In some places, it does actually look a little bit darker. So whether that's going to change anything, look, I'm not sure.
4 in the afternoon now. So
yes, is that too?
The sun's starting to get a little bit low in the horizon, hide behind a few more trees. We're looking at sunset in another couple of hours, and then it'll really start to get pretty exciting. You haven't got those visual references when it gets dark yet. There's a bit of a rave on the entry to Nordschleife, and that's about it for lighting. But also, going back to literally anything can happen for the next hour or so, we've been joined in the commentary box by Jamie Conboy, who is fresh out of the car after the first stint. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Hello, boys!
Hello, how's it going?
Hello.
What an exciting morning that was, especially with the little bit of moisture that came through. That was probably the most intense 15 minutes of driving I've ever performed, I reckon. What a lot of fun it was out there. Don't know what it was like to watch, but there would have been a lot happening because there was yellow flags everywhere, and once the rain came down, there was cars swapping spots and stuff, so I'm sure it would have been a joy to watch.
It is a visual treat, this racetrack. Having a lot of fun, and as you can see here, there's some cars still in pretty close proximity. Your mate Loopty has got Luke Johnson crawling all over the back of him, and there's company as well. So we're paying attention to this at the moment because it's an absolute ripper of a bit of racing to go on for the next little bit.
How are they going, the skill issue guys? As you said, he's leading a train around here at the moment. Have they had any issues, or are they just plodding along nicely?
They suffered an unsafe rejoin from another car, the 75, who've been penalised accordingly. But otherwise, I believe Nathan Monk has kept it clean for the first stint, and Luke D. Jane Rundella has also kept it clean for the second stint. Luke Johnson is well and truly all over the back of him, though. He's definitely under some pressure.
Yeah, Luke had a bit of a whoopsie-poopsie before, but he's come up through the back of the field. Those Rockets Evolved guys are going to be a threat to the top 10 pretty shortly because, yeah, they've come from the back of the field rapidly, and there's a lot of fast drivers in that car. I think Stevie Ty yet to drive as well. So once Luke Johnson makes short work of Loopty here, he's going to tear off into the distance. They're going to be a very fast car today for sure.
Yeah, they'll be a tough one to compete with as Slade decides to hit the dirt coming through there. But yeah, we'll see some faster guys in this Rockets Evolved car later. As we welcome the two other commentators to replace us three, we've got everybody's favourite Cam Thistlethwaite. We all love Cam, and we've got Blake Griffiths in for his first Enduro. Welcome to you both.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's always a nice entry there from Mitch Hobbs. No salt on that one. Absolutely.
Oh, you'll know when I'm doing salt, don't you worry.
Oh, I definitely, yeah. I can taste it in the air already.
Yeah.
But lovely to have you back, David, as well. Bender, it's been a while.
Thank you.
You heard you on the box.
Everyone
well.
loves Bender.
My second favourite Nulty. I do apologise.
Did we get a Bender fact? Did I miss the Bender fact? Have we had that yet, or are you just saving them for later?
I was saving it for the changeover, mate, because I knew you'd want to hear it.
Yes!
Hold on to the edge of your seats, folks. This is a ripper. The optimal angle for skipping rocks on a flat surface of water is 20 degrees.
There you go. Hello.
That's
all right.
useful information.
That's incredibly useful information. Some of your Bender facts are well out there and have absolutely no relevance to real life whatsoever, but that is an absolute banger. Straight out the gate to that one. Number 1. Well done.
So next time you're at a lake or a flat body of water and you want to, you see a rock, you got to release it at a 20-degree angle because you'll be able to measure that perfectly.
That is a weapon of a fact. Have you haven't had your drive yet? You're not far away from getting in the car potentially?
No, second half of the race for me, so I'll be back in the box later before I get in the car.
Just been watching Suma go about his business. No, it's okay, Glenn. We can see the stream's having a bit of a slideshow at the moment. I'm sure you're all over that, and the guys in chat will know that that's being resolved. But as I said, I was just watching Suma. He's been cruising around in front of us for a while. He's got some very strong pace, does Robert Wenzel. So you guys going along nicely in P16 at the moment?
Yeah, very nicely. Just wait till I get in the car later and the pace will drop off, that's for sure.
We just watched Luke Johnson make his way past Jaden Rondinella after following him around for an entire lap of the Nordschleife. So that'll release him. We'll see how much pace Luke has. And speaking of releasing people, I think it's time for us three to put the race start. Go get some lunch and stop waffling and let these three absolute legends take over. So it's been a pleasure chat. I won't be back, but Hobbsy and Bender will be back with you later. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you all later on.
Nice work from you, Tom Maloney.
Thanks,
well done,
Hobbsy.
Thank you, Tom.
Catch you later.
Well done, Bender.
Yeah, David,
Guys,
see
good
Mitch.
job.
What a very handsome sounding trio that was. And now we've got to come in and try and back that up. I don't know how we're going to go, Blake and Cam.
Yeah,
Just
it's gonna
do
be
our
a.
very, very best. That's it.
Yeah, that's all we can do really. But shout out to Glenn. Glenn has already got so much work before this race happens, and then he has to sit here on the on the cams all 12 hours as well. So big shout out to Glenn. If you see him, say hi, and we appreciate anyone. Let's get some Frank Glens in chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen to that. I think everyone by now knows that Glenn's the GOAT. But he's, managed the servers, he's managed the entry list, he's got all the liveries sorted and into a bot for us to download nice and comfortably. He's sorting
Has
out
to
the
organise
streams.
us commentators as well.
Yeah, absolutely all over it. Thank you, Glenn.
Being around the scenes for this, not actually racing, just see how much work has gone into this. Like, there's just, like, you guys touched on it, like, there's so many different things that are taken care of. Makes it feel very, very special. So, yeah, I'd love to see some thank you, Glenn, thank you, the teams, thank you, the stewards in the chat, please, and thank you, guys.
So, how's the day rolling along for you two? Have you watched much of the first part of the race? I can't remember if you guys are driving. I know I am, but I've spoken about our race already. Are you guys having a drive today?
That'll be a nada from me. But yeah, I've been catching the race. I was hoping we would have a bit of a rain shower kick in, but it looked like it was a bit of a false dawn, as it was I think a short spell around the 1 hour mark. 1-6 for this race, but yeah, Blake. I don't believe you. Are you racing tonight?
No, I'm not racing. I am not Nordschleife, apart from its reputation at all, so it would be a little bit spicy for me. But I've been following along all this morning. I definitely wanted to see what the race start was like. I thought it would be important to the story of the race altogether, and it's been very interesting so far. Been in and out as I've been like jumping around and stuff in my life, but it's been fun to watch so far. Apologies for the slight slideshow, guys. That rectified.
My apologies, Cam. I completely forgot about your little ailment, my friend. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus there, and I felt the pain in your voice when you replied. Oh shit, sorry. For those
That's right. I wasn't scheduled to race anyway. To be honest, I'm quite content with doing sprints, but I think I'm slightly being eaten away by the endurance bug. But yeah, we'll see next time. But yes. Even if I was racing, I wouldn't be out there today. Well, not with my wheel and pedals, that's for sure. Maybe a controller if things were so desperate. Yeah. Might need a bit of a boost on you, Blake, as well. I think... was a little bit disappointing to see the Lexus of Lucas Keys get so high, and unfortunately has fallen back a little bit. I'm not sure if there was an incident with the changeovers with the different drivers.
Yeah, I don't know if there has been an accident.
I think there was some damage at least.
Okay, yeah, it looks like there's a fair bit of time lost there. Eric Scarney, generally very good without much practice, and again, he's started a brand new life with his missus up there in country Victoria, so doesn't have a lot of time for sim racing anymore, but we do pull him out of the coffin every now and then, and this is another one of those examples where he'd be the same as potentially Blake, wouldn't have much experience with this track whatsoever, and he's just jumped in the car and doing his best in the Lexus. He does love the Lexus, very familiar with the Flexus. Drove that in the Sprint Series back in the day, but yeah, I don't think he's got much time on the Nordschleife under his belt, so doing very well just to keep it tucked away inside the top 10 at the moment, but is, as you said, hanging on for dear life in there at the moment. Sorry, my little daughter's arrived. Oh, over to you. I'll be kissing and cuddling here for a minute.
No worries. I think, Scarney likes the rally, and I think, to be honest, this track is probably the most rally-like, I will say. It's it's the longest, so it's a bit like a rally stage where you don't really see the same corner twice, and it's very undulating, very bumpy here, there, and everywhere. So maybe it's a bit more to Scarney's flavour. But I will say, as someone who's raced a Nordschleife across many different guises across different games, including Forza. Apparently, that's a touchy soft pick around here, as it turns out. But yes, although I originally learned it on Project Gotham Racing, for those who remember, the Forza before Forza, to be honest. And yeah, so it's even having known the track, Nord is a different beast to actually drive in ACC. It's it took a lot of adjustment, and I haven't really revisited it since the start of this year and the last time I drove.
Yeah, I think going back to what you're saying about Scarney, if I had a co-driver that was giving me my pace notes, I think I could do it. Give me those 3 lefts over crests through dips, I'd be good. I'm actually a regular in the Octane Rally Series as well. It's good fun. They were giving it a shout out before. Absolutely, if you're into your rally or want to get into it, it's good fun. It's a nice setup they got going. It's pretty
Pace notes at Nordschleife. That's a cool little shout. That actually, that'd be a lot of fun, especially for someone who doesn't know the track. That's a good little idea there.
I could do it. I would do it, but
this
I
would
need
be
a co-driver then. So, but yeah, I mean,
free right over crest into right 5 long, don't cut, and straight.
I think there's a lot of don't cuts.
There's a whole lot of don't cut, yeah.
Yeah, people are saying a lot of the inside curbs are very, very nasty here.
Oh yes.
Keep in through the carousel.
Yeah.
Flat, 3 kilometers. How long is this straight, Jamie?
I don't know.
Where's Muller when you need him? Muller knows how to spell every friggin' track corner name here, and he knows where the toilets are. Muller's all over this track. He'd tell you exactly how long the straight is. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. That or Brent Sykes knows a lot around this track.
Is there any others up there with Muller and Sykes that we know of that are just dictionaries when it comes to the Nordschleife?
I know a few corner names, but I couldn't list it all off like those two can. But the big ones to know are the straight is called Dottingaho, and to be honest, they're all kind of deafy. I wouldn't really want to pick out any in particulars out there. But what corners do you think I say this now. I'm going to ask you what corners you're struggling on.
Sorry to interrupt, but I've just got my my eyes on my team at the moment. We're watching Gobby in the Lexus. This is for P18 and P19. I know it's not on the stream at the moment. We're not watching much on the stream at the moment, so I'll give you a bit of a recap of what's just happened as they come into the pit lane. There they go, just past there. My teammate, Scott Rockford, came into the pit lane at what I thought was probably a normal speed, but Gobby and the Lexus in front came in very slowly, and our BMW has just planted itself inside the Lexus. So both of those cars now in the pit lane with a fair bit of damage to repair after that pit lane entry. Once we get this the slideshow sorted, hopefully Glenn can go back and revisit that one, because I jumped out of my chair. Goodness gracious.
Is there any danger? Was it near the pit entry line? Is one of them going to go have a penalty?
I mean,
because I've been on the receiving end of a car hitting us from behind at the pit entry and giving us a drive-through because of speeding.
Yeah, it wasn't far off. Yeah, it's a good point. I wasn't sort of on top of how fast they crossed the pit line, but there certainly was, big contact between the two cars, and then obviously they both sort of rebounded into the wall a little bit as well. So it looks like Glenn's got the slideshow sorted out. That's running like butter up there on the stream now. That's good to see. But yeah, car 536 on the way into the pit lane with 2:03. Glenn, if you want to have a little look back at that once you've got yourself sorted. Oh boy.
Yep. Cheers for sorting it out, Glenn. Considering he's had the various computer maladies over the last few weeks. Even the big ask for the computers for today as well, so everyone could hope and pray. But Glenn's temps, as they bring it down to the normal GP track, which I don't know if both of you've been driven it. I'd say like driving the GP track, because the one thing that the Nordschleife does mandate is a minimum of a 70mm ride height, which rises the cars up quite a bit more than they're used to at other tracks, and I feel like it makes a hell of a difference at this. Just driving this GP track, it feels so weird in comparison to actually driving it in the standalone configuration that we all know.
Yeah, it feels extra bumpy, doesn't it?
Yeah. It just feels like the car's on stilts. It just didn't want to turn for anything. I'm not sure if the BMW was like that. The GTR kind of felt like that, but maybe it was a bit early days with the setups.
No, I think you're right. It's still a bit like that. There's a lot of parts of the track, the GP circuit.
Car
that feel
89,
like
is that our leader that stopped? I'm sorry to interrupt, JC.
I'm
seeing the triangle that denotes the leader.
Yes, I think you're right. On my track map as well, car 89 was yellow there for a little while. So that also
moving.
Might be worth a revisit.
Yeah, that's the BS Plus competition car, the 89. So they've had a calamity. We're obviously trying to get all our systems back up and running, so do bear with us. We bear with Glenn as well, obviously, all on his own. But yeah, I believe our leader has had a lapse, whether it was concentration, whether it was a moment, maybe it was just ACC physics on a curb, as we know. I was going to say, like, we blame the curves, but it's the... I think there's a bit more to the problem when it comes to how ACC reacts and bounces.
You have to hit the curb for it to be a problem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just stay off the curbs, guys. It's just that easy.
Just don't hit the curb 5 head.
Just miss every apex, you'd be fine.
Yeah, it looks like Matthew Lamb. There's damage. There's damage on the front and the rear for the Ferrari. Oh, dear. Yep, so... Matthew Lamb is saying he wasn't a fan of the Ferrari. I was hearing from the previous boys in the comm box. And I wonder if that's going to have to require a pit stop. Is that much sufficient damage, or if he can keep going? Because they've only just kind of boxed it around the 10-hour mark, a little bit afterwards. So can he still go with that damage? It's quite a feat around here.
Does it look slow, or is that just me?
It's hard to really tell with no other cars around him, but he probably does. He definitely would have lost some top end for sure with aero damage. Any damage is gonna completely kill your top end speed.
My question is: have they just come out of the pits on a new stint, or are they on their way into?
He's boxing.
The pits? So hopefully that was at the end of the stint and not at the start of the stint, and this isn't an unscheduled pit stop. If they just finished their stint like everyone else has, which they probably have. I think the BMW is just pitted and it uses more fuel than anything. So this is probably at the end of their scheduled stint, and this isn't going to cause them too much of a time loss.
I really hope that is the case, and that isn't. They haven't just boxed and started their stint. I think they had a 35-second gap to Joshua Holmes in the second place Ferrari, I believe the 69 car for Arena Open Sports, and that is going to be it's going to be gold on the horizon shortly for that car, as these guys have definitely got quite a bit of damage to build. As we see Brian Kong there in the Castrol McLaren on the other screen as well, really giving it some coming onto the Kesselchen.
Speaking of Josh Holmes and his Ferrari boys, Benjamin Hignett in the chat. How's your day going, mate? Up there in Pete. So you guys are going along beautifully. See, they've just popped into the pit lane now too, Camp. Josh Holmes in the pit, as has the third place car. So a lot of the guys just coming in. Fourth place as well, popping in. So this is the end of the scheduled pit stops for a lot of these cars.
You know, if you're going to have a moment, have it on your in lap.
Yeah, for sure. Catching a lucky break there.
Still, though, with the damage, that's probably a big repair bill. They've been sat there for quite a while, and they will have to do tires as well, which can't be done during repair. Repairs require you can't do any fueling, tire change, brake change, or anything during the repair time. And I'm probably guesstimating about 20 seconds of damage, since it was front and rear by the looks of things.
Yeah, they were a long way in front. I think it was about 35, 40 seconds, the gap last time I checked, and that was probably 2-3 laps ago. So you can imagine they would have stretched that by another 4 or 5 seconds, but that will just give Benjamin Hignett and those Ferrari guys in the Arena Sports Ferrari a little bit of a sniff, saying this race isn't over yet. There's a long way to go, and potentially the Pit Bakita Lamb and Burst car may have a little mistake in it. So not over yet.
Looks like they have gotten going, so they might have been saved. And yeah, they did have a 35-second gap, to be fair, as well. So there might have been enough to get most of their repairs in, as it looks like Lucas Burrs has taken over for the 89 Ferrari of BS Plus competition. But yeah, I think Mathalam will be a little bit nervous come his next stint, to say the least.
Must be bloody nice having Josh Holmes and Ben Hignett start off your car and keep it in P2 with some really cracking pace, but then let the shackles off Connor Hind, who's their fastest driver. Imagine having your fastest driver come in this kind of position. He's going to be chomping at the bit, is the Hindu, and he'll have a red hot crack at reeling in this BS Competition Plus car, because now that he's seen that they are a little bit wounded, he might just think he's got a sniff of reeling them in over the course of this stint, so we'll keep an eye on that gap at the top.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what time changes over this next sector. Obviously, it's a little bit slow with the gigantic track and the gigantic sectors. See what kind of work needs to be done for the 69 car.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't really get our sector updates because there's still only 3 sector lines, even though the track is about 26 kilometers or whatever it is. As Connor Hind looks like he's got front damage.
I was gonna say it's a little bit
flappy bonnet.
Flappy bonnet, if you will.
No, we had the same thing before where, so Benjamin was saying they had a little bit of damage to repair, but yeah, exactly. It's the spectator bug that doesn't repair it during the pit stop. So they will have a nice, fresh, undamaged car. It's just, as you said, a spectator bug that looks like it's rearing its head again. We had the exact same thing in our car before. So
yeah, they probably went Norton Hornets supercars mode, the mechanics on that bonnet. Just with the pile drivers on the elbows, if anyone remembers that clip from a long time ago with the Nissan Altimas. But yeah, interested to see how Connor Hind is a very, very speedy boy. And I was going to say, I think there was a Bentley kind of off the back of Matthew Lamb, and I think that was it was behind him on the GP track, but it looks like he's getting hit. Oh no, there we go. Yeah, never mind. Ignore me. It's just the sector times updating as they are crossing a few things. So the net leaders are not in the lead currently, but it's only because the cars ahead are still yet to stop. So I think yeah, McAdam and at least Webb have been able to pull out an extra lap or so, along with Herbert as well in the 422 Bentley.
We saw McAdams in that Bentley running a very fuel-efficient engine map earlier. I wonder if they're doing that again. Maybe trying over the course of the whole race just to have less pit stops overall. It would be interesting to see how that plays out. Yeah,
I think we saw them on map 3 in the Bentley, which I can say is so obviously 1 is the fastest, when A being the pace car map, which is the most fuel efficient. But yeah, 3 is a bit slower, normal fuel consumption, and 2 different throttle maps, so maybe something a bit more linear. So 2 and 3 basically the same, with different throttle maps. But yeah, so a little bit less fuel.
Someone with a bit more experience, Paige, I can see you in chat. Benjamin, you're there as well. You might be able to help me out with this, right? The spectator bug is a spectator bug, but not, I didn't think it was a driver, like someone on server bug. So I'm currently in car with Lucas Burrs, and I'm still in ACC, right? So this has nothing to do with YouTube or Discord or Spectator at all. I'm in car with Lucas Burrs. Do I still count as a spectator in that scenario? Because at the moment I'm sitting in car with Lucas Burrs, and this is a very damaged Ferrari that I'm looking at. So I'm wondering if they actually did repair their damage, or if the spectator bug carries over to me here?
I feel like in previous Enduros, I've looked at, while I've not been in a car, but in the server, I've also seen cars with damage that isn't reflected. And I think you also see that with like headlight states as well. Like drivers will be driving around with no headlights on, whereas they actually have them on. But we'll see if Peach or Benjamin or any other veterans can have the answers to the quirks of ACC's Enduros. There's all these quirks.
Features.
So many features. You know, they put out an Ultimate Edition with all the features out as well as we've got. Not gonna lie, my ACC Ultimate Edition would feature a lot less tracks and cars that we don't use. There's some more that we would use. But then again, I want Macau in the game.
So give me 3 tracks you want to see in the game.
Well, Red Bull Ring was really high on my list, and we did get it. Hockenheim, Magny Cores, and Macau, and they're all potentially tracks that we could get with the licensing as well. That's the thing. They actually went to Hockenheim, Macau. Jeddah they can keep, which they're at this weekend. Jeddah can go in the bin.
Just a bit further down the track, number 19 car had a little bit of a moment. That's actually kind of a continued moment happening. It looks like everyone's getting going though. Might get a replay of that.
That's a good answer there from
19
Benjamin in chat.
and
He would
16.
know too. It depends on if the car was in render distance when it gets binned and or repaired. And I can also confirm now that I've just jumped on board with Hindu. And we obviously had those guys confirm that their car was repaired, but I'm looking at his car and it's definitely not repaired on my screen. So yes, I'm seeing in car with Burst and Hind. Both of them look damaged, but clearly they are not damaged. Which is good. You want to see these guys out there with their best pace on the board. Hindu, just watching Hindu go around this last sector now, he's absolutely smashing it. So he's looking like he hasn't needed much of a warm-up either. And then Herbert here on screen as well with Hendo. These guys are just a 2-man team in this Bentley. They're cruising along nicely up here in P4. They're doing very nicely as well. A couple of teams probably exceeding expectations at the moment, and a couple of other teams probably a little bit further down that will hope their fortunes improve, but with 9.5 hours to go. Goodness gracious, it's going to be a long day, so hang in there.
I don't think
clouding over.
Don't
Sorry,
think you
my
can be
God.
getting yourself down this early in the race. Like, there's just too much to go still. Like, so much can happen.
Weather report, Cam?
I was going to say it's gotten a lot more cloudy lately. There was a little bit of sun with the overcast, and it is slowly disappeared. And obviously, with the 2 times track state that we have currently, it means we only get to see 15 minutes in advance for the weather. So I'm hoping for some rain because I'm a commentator and I get to sit here and laugh at everyone. But it'll be interesting to see how it shakes up things. And, crazy, the fastest lap for Burst score with 8 minute 10.0. Oh, and this is what happened to the 89 car. So yeah, I think that damage was just spectators. It's already on the car before any other incident, or it could be a separate incident. Oh, and the curb, and it just gets away from his. The Ferrari TC does not save him in that case, and not too much damage, I think. Oh, and well, spoke too soon.
Jeez, they're lucky there's no cars around them at all. Lucky they're so fast because they are miles away from anyone. That's a blind crest there. They were parked
He
in
had
the
a
middle of the road.
60-second gap at that point. 66 seconds he had over the P2 car at that time.
It's so
goodness
scary
gracious.
being in the middle of the track, the wrong way around, stuff like that. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and that was, I think, just after a crash as well, so I'm not sure the cars would even see him coming. Oh dear. But yeah, thankfully he was kind of too far ahead, and even so, with repairing the car at the pit stops, I think he'll retain the net lead once the Bentley stops. We believe the Bentley stopped. I don't know, maybe the Bentley has already stopped, to be honest. I'm not really keeping up to date with when cars are stopping, but Jay McAdam has gone around again.
Yeah, it looks like our little pit stops widget has reset, unfortunately, so we're a little bit blind. Forgive us.
Bender's trying his hardest with that rain dance in chat. It is, as you said, clouding over Cam. No rain on the radar just yet, but Bender's trying his hardest to get it happening. And I'm all for it.
Been a good long while since we've had a Bender rain dance.
Aren't you back in the car in like an hour, Jamie?
Yes. Yes, I am. Bring
I love
it
it
on.
though. Yeah, that's what I like to see. Don't shy away from that. It's the challenge. It's the thrill of the fight. Eye of the tiger, baby.
It is a whole different racetrack when it's a little bit moist. And yeah, it brings a lot of drivers forward in terms of pace, and it brings a lot of other drivers back. So it really does mix up the field, and you'll see the leaderboard start to shake up if that rain hangs around for any more than 15, 20 minutes. And then, of course, there's it's like what we had before. The rain was an interesting sort of 15-minute shower where it wasn't enough to get on the wet, so you had everyone just cruising around on bright blue slick tires, and that's very treacherous on a track like this. So, as Cam said before, it's it's a lot of fun for some drivers, but it's an absolute ball to watch.
Yeah, I think it's really tricky as well because the track is so long. Like it's at least an 8-minute lap. If it only rains for 15 minutes, like. You have to make that choice like then and there. It's like, are we going for this? Are we not? Are we staying out on these slicks? Like, I think it just adds like a lot of extra difficulty in terms of that strategy call.
Yeah, I'm really curious about how this lead pans kind of go about halfway through. I'm still kind of wondering about these Bentleys because if they manage to pull a bit of a blinder here where they can get another lap out of their fuel tank, then it's going to be quite a prime strategy, and it's going to pay absolute dividends towards the end. And it's I also still can't get over the fact that we have a Pixel Racers GTR out there, and it's not being piloted by you and Cricky as well. That doesn't make sense. Corn boy. He's probably a bit occupado with his lovely family. Well, that's his name. His old nickname was Corn Boy. I mean, it still is. He used to drive a yellow and green car for a long time, if I remember.
Yeah, good shout. My ACC has died, so I'm just resetting that at the moment. I have a game crash, so hopefully...
Better now than later.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's better now that while I'm not in the car. That seems to be okay. We'll get it running again. It's quite weird not being in the GTR. Oh, hello. What's happened, Blake?
Big smack for the BMW. I'm not exactly sure who that was, but coming into that wall very, very hard. Big embrace. I'm not sure. Is that the 700 BMW of Nippers?
No, it's that'll be a white and a yellow car. I'm trying to suss it out myself as well.
The number is underneath the 422, so I can't see it on the track map.
Yeah, I'm trying to see it as well. But 150, unfortunately, the car of Rondinella, Muller, and Monks has gotten a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, did they? Hello. That sounds very much like a skill issue, if you ask me.
And I believe that was 421 Pit Viper Omega that hit the wall behind the BMW behind. But yes, let's get the stick the knife in with Muller, Monks, and Rondinella's car.
JC absolutely cheering right now that someone else has messed up that pit entry.
Oh, just them in particular, because they've been talking smack all week long. They're very much our target. Like everyone's, Sam, AMs have been trying to win AM class, and Silver's trying to win Silver. We're just trying to beat them.
That would have been Jaden as well, because he was just driving, and it would have been on the entry, surely. I mean, it may have been the exit, but I'm going to throw Jaden under the bus.
Whereabouts is your car right now, JC?
We're around about P20-ish. I'm just rejoining the server now. We are, around about P20-ish. We started P23, and we're currently P23. So, yeah, we're going along okay. Things are good.
Can't complain.
Yeah, we've had a few whoopsies. We got punted a little bit in the first stint, and then we had a bit of a punt of ourselves. And yeah, we had that pit lane incident. I'd still like to see the end of lap 15, Glenn. The 536 car, this car right here at the end of lap 15 on the pit entry. There's a bit of a replay there if you want to go and have a look at that. Gobby got in my chat and said that his screen froze. He had a game freeze on his way into the pit lane. So that's the Lexus. And because they had a screen freeze or whatever, he's obviously, going into the pit lane very slowly. And our BMW wasn't prepared for that. And yeah, there was a collision on the way into the pit lane. So both cars escaping any sort of driving penalties for speeding in the pit lanes. That's good. But there would have been some extra damage to repair, that's for sure.
You guys
Is it
gonna
a
report that one?
conflict of interest if you're racing and then you jump in the comms and make your case to wipe away a penalty?
Absolutely there is, but we don't want to talk about that.
That's the benefit. Cricket!
Catch it. Catch it.
No, he does the
fine.
small clip. It's fine.
That's the line.
And he rejoining like he's on the Nordschleife tourist circuit.
Look at that.
Oh dear. Oh
Probably
my.
gained time doing that. Wonder if he got a
That
cut
is-
and
I've never seen anyone have as light as a collision with that, have losing it in that way. As Cricky gets it all around. And here's what's happening. As we follow the Lexus into the box, that is Gooby's car. Oh, and I can kind of see why Scotty was not prepared for him to be stopping that early, because it was quite early. But understandably so, Gobby had an issue. That's Tim Goob. We should stop calling him Gobby. That sounds really bad.
Didn't Nick give him that nickname?
Maybe. I think just I think the certain group that we're all part of gave him that nickname, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yes, unfortunately that's him. Yeah, I imagine a bit of damage on the rear, a bit of damage on the front of your car as well. That was quite unfortunate. But blimey, Cricky. I mean, it kind of pales in comparison to the moment that Cricky had.
big moment, yeah. But no, he kept it together and he didn't spin it and put it in the wall. It could have been much worse. So
Definitely not because we're watching him right now.
it was a bit of a curse, wasn't it?
It's a bit. You're mistaking your claim about the incident, and then the things about to nearly came undone.
I'm going to state my claim that this is the best livery on the grid. Goodness gracious, Cricky's outdone himself again with this one.
Does a very good job, I will say. Keeping it fresh, but keeping it familiar as well.
He does half the liveries on the grid. He spent more time making liveries for OOR for this race than he did actually practicing, didn't Cricky? And
I can relate
he
to
does
that.
everyone's bloody liveries, but he saves the best for us, I reckon.
Also, big shout out
Did
to
the
Cricky
intro
for
video as
doing-
well.
Whoa, you stole that from me. No,
I was
big
relaying
shout out
what
to
he said.
Cricky for doing the intro. I mean, it was really beautiful. Also for Mel for doing the voiceover too. It was really great. It's really gets you hyped and in the zone for such an event. We've just had someone return to pits. I didn't quite see who that was.
I saw 16 that was yellow just before that, so I think it was them. The car 16, the ANZ CRL car of Haynes, Gray, and Cordier. Quite unfortunate. I think that was around Callenhard and still 20 degrees on track. It's cooling down a little bit as it gets into the evening here in this part of Germany. Approaching 6 p.m. So whatever sun is definitely on its way out, and headlights will have to be on very shortly. That said, though, to be honest, it's kind of like ACC's transition to darkness. Headlights feel kind of useless until it's basically pitch black.
Yeah, Tom was talking about when it goes dark before too. Like I noticed it's getting a bit darker now, but I think that's more to do with the cloud cover than the actual time that sunset occurs here. I think Tom was saying before it's not till literally 10:30 where we're going to see full darkness, and then the sun comes back up again at 4. So we're, especially with the 2 times multiplier, it's probably only going to be 3 hours or so today of night time. Oh, that's a big slap.
That rear left on the grass, and then it stopped. I was going to say, I think I saw him get going again, but then I saw him stopped a bit later on because I was keeping an eye on that car. And I think they've had a secondary moment. I think